You seem like someone who has a style. Like all of you to me seem like someone has style. Do we already have a style, or is it human to try to have a style to fit into Earth?
I think it's human, but I also, like, for me personally, like, my perspective, like, it's like part of my blueprint, you know?
Oh,
so everything that, like, I try to represent, I feel like I try to pull it and channel it from a different aspect of myself. You know, like, even though this is just a shirt, it's got a Merkaba, it's got a sun, it has, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know, I just kind of gravitate towards what my soul is attracted to, what makes me happy. I'm Pisces, so occult, mysticism, anything like that, glittery stuff. Like, style has just always been something that it's just a fun way to express your energies. So that's how I look at it. And like I said, I went to school for fashion, but I totally got I didn't like the modern way things were. So I won't look at everything, and I don't look at, like, the modern fashion and, like, be attracted to it. I'm really attracted to seeing everybody express their blueprint and having their exact style come through that, kind of, rather than, like, trends or, like, certain things.
And there's a reason for that. And that's why I wanted to tell you this the other night. I forgot. Is so Leia Capitelli, she activated my third eye. I watched her video on YouTube, and she draws some of the different extraterrestrial groups, and they're ones that have the elven ears. So when the emos want to get the surgery, it's because they might be channeling from another planet.
Yeah. Really? Or, like, gauges too. Like, even though, like, we see it now, like, but with Earth, you know, there's ancient, like, cultures with gauges or things or septums or blah blah blah, but I feel like that also will translate galactic too, because I feel like for fairies and Lyrans and everything, they're very they like style, culture, art, dance. Style is very important to them, so I pull from that a lot. So that's what comes through me too, I feel like, because I'll feel that I feel the most, like, I like wearing gold, you know? So I like being adorned, but I feel like that's pulling from my Lyran side. Like, I feel like that's how they portray themselves.
So she drew an ET group that had just joined the Galactic Federation, even though she doesn't like calling it Federation because it's too Star Trek-y. But they had just joined because when you're non-violent Earth planet, when you go up to level 2 from level 1 of being barbaric and warlike into positivity and love and light, you can join the Galactic Federation of Light and interstellar travel. And they just had a new group that joined, and they're like blue, and some are. I had a vision of one that was a cat. This was the first time. So they look like humans, but they're blue, and they have gold, everything. Adornments. And they were in Egypt, so they had hieroglyphs. So I knew for a fact that
that's where a lot of Egypt stuff will come.
What?
Yeah, I've seen those.
Where?
In my dreams.
Okay, so everyone, Christy's dreams are off the chain. I mean, actually, so are Gabe's, and so yeah, just to put you on the spot some more, you guys.
So, yeah, Christy, so what have you seen in your dreams?
Oh man, just so many different beings and stuff, and I feel like that's such a great way to contact you, so, you know, invite it into your reality, especially in the form of dreams, because when you're asleep, your conscious mind is more out of the way, and, you know, you're more in the unconscious and subconscious, so it's easier to allow that to come through, because I feel like when you're awake, like if you're meditating or something and you see that, you might get all excited or you might get freaked out, and then you're just like snapped out of that reality, but you know what I mean, like you can't see it anymore once you shift your vibration that drastically, but when you're sleeping, I feel like there's a kind of homeostasis that occurs where you can interact with these beings and you can ask for more contact in that way.
And a lot of people don't realize too, like a lot of times I'll get messages, but it'll be normal people, but I know my guides are using that filter to not shock me or just to make me maybe integrate in a different way. Maybe if I, you know, they were seeing them full force, I wouldn't concentrate on what they were telling me. I would just concentrate on the image or just that they came to me. But coming through like somebody, I'll just have strangers too that talk to me.
Yeah.
You know, but I know that it's like my guides working in some form. So and they even have told me that too, that they do that.
Do they repeat messages through different people to you, or do you feel something?
It's just different things. It's just depending on what it is. Like sometimes I'll just need to know things. Sometimes I'll dream about something that's gonna happen like the next day or things like that. A lot of times I'll dream about past life stuff. So I'll dream about me in past life situations, but I'll be like kind of on missions and I'll be talking to people, but I won't see my guides. It'll just be like whoever I'm on mission with, you know.
An earthly mission. You mean?
Sometimes it's somewhere else, but they like to filter a lot of stuff. But like I said, I see you in a lot of stuff too, but I'll see you in like hallways and warehouses and like all this weird stuff, lunch tables, we'll be talking. Like,
Really?
These are ships.
Yeah.
These hallways and warehouses usually are
Cafeterias.
Yeah. This is the way
yeah.
stations. These are big ships where we all meet.
Hotel elevator.
Krista thinks
Hotels
it's a
are
ship
so
cruise.
common. Hotels and apartments, I'll be going into different rooms a lot, and I'll be going through the staircases through them and meeting with people, and then I always find myself back at school, and I'm like going in the hallways and going to different stuff, and then there'll be certain moments where I'm like, I already graduated like 5 years ago, like what am I doing here? And then I'll kind of wake up, you know, they're like, oh, she wasn't supposed to realize, like, you know.
Yeah, they do this. They're like, oh, you got it, okay, and then they switch on me.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to, like, I saw like one of my best friends from childhood when I was 7, and I looked at these guys, and I looked at this one guy, I said, you look like Eric, you look like Kirsten, and you like Julia, but you're not,
Not them.
you're not, that's not you. And they're like,
Or like when you
"Oh,
realize that
got
their
it."
face will morph, you know, it'll be something
And
different.
they either is Asani or
I had that where it's
or
3
gray.
people, and I called them out, and they changed into grays.
Yeah. And the
And
grays
then,
go like,
and then
okay.
they zipped up, and then I woke
They're
up.
like, okay, he
Why
got
did
it.
they
But
do
the
that?
Grays were never violent with me. I never had any bad
They're just
encounter.
curious to me.
They're very curious. They check. They learn. The Asasani are very
Mine were more
emotional.
tall grays than short grays.
Yeah.
They felt more tall grays.
Yeah,
But
I
once
have-
I realized what was going on, I stood up, and I guess my human mind started coming or something like that. Because right away I started chanting. I chant and do spell work in my dreams. It's really weird. I started chanting
Yeah,
something.
she hears me in bed, like in
Like, oh,
3D.
there's like,
And then I'm
and then
when I talk, my body talks here.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes she wakes me up, and one was a funny thing, but I was really busy, and I was at the source getting information. I see this telescopic arm from a lower dimension reaching up, and it was Krista pulling me back into 3D into my body.
So
So-
skirmish.
So when
funny.
you touch somebody like this, it's a dimension.
I've done that in
like
a dream
this.
too.
I saw her arm going as if it was like, I don't know, half a mile long,
Yeah.
reaching
Oh,
into
that's
this
happening.
round.
Uh-huh.
And she grabbed me and she's like, sweetie, yeah. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You just pulled me. I was just conversing. She's like, I thought you were having a nightmare. I'm like, no, we were having a good conversation. You pulled me out of it.
So I guess so
Yeah.
deep in meditation, my mouth falls open, and like Nick always like pokes his finger in there, and I'm like, I was deep in trance. Why did you do that?
See, same thing. Yeah, but Krista now lets me go. Because sometimes sometimes I have things where shadows don't want to reveal themselves, and I challenge them. And I say, reveal. Interestingly, that works. I was in a dream 2 nights ago, where I said, like, by the name of Anta.
That's what I did in my dream.
You reveal yourself. And the thing went, oh shit, scram! And it was
That's
out.
what I did. I stood up, and I was like, by the name, in the name of this. Started chanting
I
up the
didn't
light,
even know
reveal
what I
yourself,
knew.
and
Yeah.
they revealed themselves, and then they zipped up.
Yeah. It's like they have
You
to.
they
There's
have
there are
to reveal.
rules.
So
Uh-huh.
when you have channels, you have to.
Yeah, you have to reveal yourself.
Yeah, they're command codes. I mean, basically, when you say certain things,
Mm-hmm.
they're vibrations that are entangled in such a way that it basically unhinges parts of the simulation, and that's what it is. Like, what negative entities are, they're these aspects of the simulation that get caught in these lower density, lower dimensional loops. And so when we're saying these things in the name of basically invoking the holy name of everything, you're unhinging those thought forms, and you're reintegrating them into the divine blueprint.
Did you?
And most of those things happen because people aren't conscious of them, so they're not having their power. So once you have your power,
Check something.
you know, they have to reveal themselves.
That's it.
Did you have a bar mitzvah?
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Why not?
Because I wasn't raised religiously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever come across sacred names for angels?
You mean just in my lifetime, like when I was younger?
Like Ophanim, Hashmalim, Seraphim, Elohim.
Oh, sure. I mean,
Invocations.
those names come to me all the time and intuitively, and
You were
in
saying
a lot of
some this
different ways.
morning. You were saying something L, like in Superman, they're all something L. You were saying this morning some names
Some names.
of,
Yeah,
of the ETs, and they had this L in the name.
Oh, yes. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of the ETs they don't have names in the same way that we identify with names, but they'll basically take names that we can correlate to our ancient holy scripture, and they will use those names to present themselves because that's a representation of their energy.
Who's our holy scripture? Who's
The holy scriptures that are on the planet, like the Bible and the Torah and these kinds of things, and basically all of these characters that are in these scriptures, that they're named the names that they are because these particular syllables in a particular configuration create certain energies that best describe those beings or
That's
those
right.
That
characters.
vibration they're bringing.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
right. So nervous.
That's how the archangels are too. They all have the L,
Mhm.
E-L
Yeah.
at the end. Mm-hmm.
Mikael, Camuel, Samuel, Haniel, Christiel, Jophiel. Except Standophone, he's a telephone.
And they have a different vibration when you speak them in the original way in which they're meant to be spoken. So there's Michael, but there's Michael, which is the way that it's actually supposed to be said, which is basically when you say it in that way, that syllable formation is more in accordance with the divine blueprint.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Basically,
Yeah, you
part of
said,
it-
and I just
I
see it
agree.
slicing using a sword. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just was like, that's the energy that's potent
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, it basically part of the programming that we're experiencing in this particular timeline, a lot of the words in the English language are really have been sort of mangled in a specific way so that the original essence or intention or energy with those words is lost. And that's part of the programming.
How
actually.
do you
Yeah.
pronounce Gabe?
What?
How do you pronounce that? How do people learn to pronounce it correctly?
You have to feel it.
You-
I mean, I could say go read the Torah, but you're not going to understand it. When you know something, you feel it, and it comes through you. It works.
But you talk a lot about that too, about how certain words were changed to be certain ways, and there's codes in between the English language. That's
Yeah. There's
you know how they can do how you can do basically. I mean, the English language is basically spells.
yeah, the
Yeah.
English language.
Spellcasting,
when
Yeah.
you talk.
Everything is spell casting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why in the ancient days there were plateaus where the Magi would perform powers of manifestation or oracle or transmediumship where you were not allowed to speak. I also seen that in Chinese movies. I watched another ghost story, but I love these fantastic stories where the Buddha sits and the roots of the tree have grown around the guy, and he can astral project himself into physical form
Yeah.
from that body who's almost like a statue,
No.
but he's fully functional. And there are these pillars around the guy, and the student of the monk was like this is the realm here where you don't, because word is manifest, where you do not speak. So
And it's
sometimes
tainted. It's been tainted.
yeah, and our language has been tainted. So when we say something, we're spelling.
The thing that
Yeah.
I think that everyone should get out of this particular phase of the conversation is exactly what you just said, which is that your word, the words that you speak, are what you bring into the manifest world. So that's how you create your reality, is that you're speaking actually, you're speaking your thoughts into form, and that's what's manifesting. So when you learn to be silent, you basically neutralize your energy, so you're not actively creating reality, because all of this entire thing that we're generating, though it's a very elaborate illusory simulation, everything is correlating to our thoughts. So
Yeah.
when you really start to get into this certain level of consciousness, you're like, oh, I had that thought, and then Ash said that, and then Ross said that, and it's all actually correlating to your thoughts. So yeah, go ahead.
No, you were on a stream.
Basically, your word is law.
Yeah.
Your word is law.
Question.
Yeah.
For empathic people.
Yeah.
Whoever here identifies as an empath, everybody watching. How do you manage when people use word wizardry at you? Like, do you have a sword and a shield, or an invocation and spell?
Well, if you're in integrity and awareness, that's the best protection you can ever have. besides calling Michael, Samuel, or Azrael, or all of these other angels to protect you, is if you are in integrity and awareness, you are shielded. The
And
stuff
I'll
will,
just bounce right
yeah,
off you.
because
instead
you
of
become
absorbing it.
singularity.
Yeah.
Witchcraft, as in good and evil stuff, and manipulation and black magic only works on the duat, which is dualistically.
Yeah.
If you're in singularity, you repel it.
Yeah.
So if whatever bad wish they want to wish upon you, they have to basically suffer the consequence of the reflection of what they're projecting at you. But you have to be in integrity.
Yeah.
If you believe in everything that everything, like let's say like empaths, when they're too open and anybody can attach their shit to you, it'll derail you
Yeah.
because you're believing in a belief system that is not just uttered, it's also projected towards you.
Yeah.
So let's say,
Okay. Yeah.
let me
Yeah.
finish
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
this stuff real quick. So
Very
let's say daddy always projects to a daughter that she doesn't know what he's talking about. So the spell is the projection of that you're not that intellectual. So if you buy that, like I make the offer and you're buying, that's an adhesive contract. And then you actually dumbing yourself down because you're agreeing to that spell.
Yeah, you have to know yourself and say
Yeah,
no.
and you can
No,
say
I'm
no.
not.
I mean, this is so hard. When you ever been in an
Yeah.
argument with somebody, you disagree, you can say, you know what? I'm not in agreement with the reality that you're creating.
Oh,
And
so-
that means you kill all contracts.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
You know,
my,
so-
my solution is if you're not at that place, within yourself to know that where you stop and start, and you're getting bullied or somebody's being mean to you, you should get a psychic rating. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
If you're getting bullied
Learn
or
about
if you're in
shielding
a
yourself and your
situation that you don't wish to
aura.
be in, you have the ability with your free will to remove yourself from that situation.
Well, yeah, but to take money, it can take a car to leave there.
It can take you walking out your front door. If you want it to be, it can be that easy. Though, the challenge is that everything is a vibrational program or contract that Raw was saying. But really, when you're fed up with something,
You can say, I'm
you can
not
say
in
no,
agreement.
and you can walk out the front door, and
Yeah.
you can trust that
Mhm.
anything will be better than that particular reality.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just know that that's their projected reality,
Yeah.
and that's not your reality.
Yeah.
That's not the reality you
Yeah.
have to accept.
Trust me, the hardest it hit me when I was in a relationship with an ex where I knew the better choice was to break it up. And I was so conditioned living together with that one for 7 years that I was like, oh my God, the heartbreak, all of that stuff. But that's the shadow attachment to where you don't want to go. And I knew from the feeling of the timeline where this would go, I got sicker and sicker. And I couldn't get any job, and I ran out of luck. Like you literally get drained out of life force when somebody doesn't want to
It's
progress.
that comfort zone too. They're
Yeah.
pushing you
Yeah.
out of that.
And the comfort zone, well, it's what Esther Hicks says so much. When you are at a level where you're not getting it, you will be harassed out of it. It's called harassment into
Yeah, yeah.
expansion. You know
Yeah,
that?
it's a very
And
beneficial.
then the frying pan comes and you're
Mhm.
going, oh my God. So I got kicked out of the apartment. I wasn't on the lease. And I broke it up.
Yeah.
And I felt better and I felt free. But then I was like, oh, sinner. You know, you're such a bitch. And I was like, yeah, maybe I
'Cause you're
can
trying to
meet or
help.
talk to another woman. Just another,
You're trying to help them.
pardon my French, sexual encounter, just to be not in a storyline,
Yeah.
not looking for anything, just like some tantric experience. That was my story back then, which I found just to find myself where I can feel without punishment again. And you're out of there. And the minute I made that choice and I realized and accepted, my big business began to grow. My luck has returned. I can hear my angels clearer and I got the direction clearer. So one time I tried to fix the situation and go back and fix
Yeah.
the relationship, and my key sales dropped to 0.
Mm.
I was selling very little back then.
The universe is like, nope.
And the universe is like, you're not going in that
Yeah.
direction. And
Just
so
to
there
let
is
you
a bigger
know.
picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's free will, but this
Yeah.
free will is so-so. You're like, you don't be like a dumbass. You know, it's like, I always tell this joke, it's like if you're sitting in a shitty dumpster, do not try to convince yourself it's aromatherapy. Because it is not.
Verbal
And when
abuse
you
is
realize
not
that you gotta
cool.
climb out of the shit, clean yourself, like wash your ass, get clear, and you will be lucky for making the better choice.
Yeah. Always.
And that is only worst case scenario if you have a partner that doesn't want to progress.
Yeah.
And really says, oh, if we drown in this ship, I'm not patching anything up, I'll drown here. So one has to survive.
Totally.
You don't have to drown with
No,
that
no,
person.
no.
You don't owe that.
No.
Just to give you an extreme. So make the better choice. Your efforts will be matched by ETs, angels, everything that
yeah.
can assist you. but they're working on the higher road. They're not working on the lower road.
That's the whole. You have to
And recognize that.
Yeah, if you wish to work with ETs or beings that are of a much lighter vibration, they can't come to you. You have to go
Meet
to them.
them. You have to
Yeah.
meet
It's
them.
actually structurally very, very difficult for them to come to you. You have to be in a receptive vibration to actually be able to perceive their energy in the first place.
Yeah.
And perceive those thought forms because they're
It's detrimental for them to come
Yes.
down here. That's
Yes,
why
they
we
won't-
have to
they
meet
won't
their
do that.
energy.
That's right.
So their thought forms are in accordance to pure unconditional love and abundance and everything that is holy. And so when you create your internal atmosphere as being that, then you start to be able to receive that. But you can't receive that until you actually meet them there.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're kind of like you. It's like, you want to teach the word of ETs, extra-dimensional contact, outside of religion. You wouldn't want to go to let's say, Muslim country, central Syria, where we being shot at,
Right.
trying to propagate
Preach
what
that,
you do,
yeah.
because you'll die very quick. So that's how these other dimensional, and I'm not blaming religions, I'm just giving you extreme examples of you don't want to go, I don't know, and other example, there's an island, sometimes I watch these YouTube videos, places where you shouldn't go, like it's snake infested, and they're all poisonous. So you don't want to walk around there and camp there and have a night and do a relaxing vacation, because it is detrimental to your
You don't have
health.
to self-sacrifice yourself.
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense to
Oh, you
sacrifice
said that's
yourself.
a vegan problem. As in the constellation Vega.
Okay.
In
Oh yeah, the
Israel's
vegans
oracle
used to
death
sacrifice
is a
themselves.
huge self-sacrificial, and so that's also a warning sign. If you're an empath and you love helping and healing and loving everyone, even people who bully you and you try to heal them your whole life, that could be a vegan past life pattern.
Yeah, basically the vegan aspect that you haven't integrated, that you always the one that's the people pleaser running around trying to sacrifice yourself for everybody else.
Literally too spiritual.
So they love you, but that's a vegan aspect. We've been a lot of beings in this incarnation.
Remember in Catholic when they do the thing
Yeah,
and
yeah,
see lost titans with the grip on
Jesus
his
saves
hand?
and repent, and you
Why are
cripple
you
yourself.
ripping your holy temple for?
Yeah,
God?
and it's like God has not
misunderstand.
the source has not put you on this planet to rip your body to shreds, to live. How do you call it? What's called without sex? Abstinent.
Yeah.
Celibate.
Celebrate.
Oh,
Yeah,
'cause that's the
you're
new
not
thing.
designed that way. It's all nice to practice that, and they say they get more spiritual downloads, but that's another illusion of the mind. To have to found out what the mind tricks yourself.
It's just
if
an
you-
extremes,
Yeah.
you know? Everything should be about balance.
Yeah, everything is
Yeah.
about balance. Buddha had girls, Dude was a little pimpy player there.
Mary
That
Magdalene.
reminds me of the Buddha.
Yeah.
Jesus.
The ludicrous meme
Yeah.
with the Buddha.
Yeah, and also know this, people turn
Ludicrous.
mythological figures
Buddhaholics with the ludicrous
into what
Buddha.
they want to turn them into.
I gotta find it.
So I always say this: Ali Muhammad wasn't a Muslim, Jesus wasn't a Christian, and Buddha wasn't a Buddhist. Really make that very clear. It's everything after
Well, it's all about
titles.
controlling the sexual energy. You
Yeah.
want to control your sexual energy and your creative energy.
It's like be honest with your sexual energy, like not manipulating it that you cramp it up to that you'll die over, constipated root chakra. You don't want to. You let it flow. And for those, if we have that topic that seek the exchange partners, open, close, whatever, multidimensional relationship. Somebody called. What did she say? She's like, yo, I'm in the astral realm. I'm getting quite busy. So wherever you do it is, if you go where you allow to flow with that exchange and it's consent and in balance, without contracts and all this crazy stuff, then I would say in moderation that it would be okay. And that's how we still have to heal that earth, like sacral chakra. A lot of healing.
Yeah, obsession and
Yeah.
extreme is out of balance.
Yeah.
That's when you
So
know you're out of
they
alignment.
say Earth is orange, so Earth is the sacral chakra
Okay,
kind
so
of.
here's a rule of thumb.
So
I have been wrestling with this topic for quite some time, and so here's the rule of thumb. First of all, if you don't know, let the woman decide. Let the woman pick you first. She will let you know if she likes you. Second of all, send to receive. If you're sharing yourself and you're feeling great and you're loving yourself and you want to share and you're a woman to share someone, expect some reciprocity. However, with some of us, we might be having downloads of knowledge for people. They get excitement because they know that you have the codes to give them as in a download that will help them on their path. So you're actually supposed to be assisting, and so they might be getting turned on by your healing energy because you have a message or something to give her. So if you have not unlocked that code within yourself, it will be very confusing. Trust me, I went through this. It's not easy, and getting mad won't help. So if you're already awakened Starseed, it's not going to help you to get mad at the sexual confusion.
Also cycle it. When you turn on, cycle it through your heart. Channel every energy that goes through your body through your heart and evaluate and sit with it and see what resonates. And my grandma always used to say a funny thing is like when I went out with a girl and she wanted to play to a certain degree but not go all the way, then my grandma would know it and she would say like, well, did you leave a good impression? That means nothing happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. She's like, that's what men need to understand. When the boundary is defined.
Yeah.
And it was only play till here, you leave a good impression.
Yeah.
And you ease out the picture. And so moderation with that. And we're still having to learn that, as you see with all of these, and I don't want to bring up names, but we see all of these sexual abuse cases coming up from superstar to movie industry. It's all being revealed right now because this energy needs healing severely, and it's coming out now, and people will deny it. But energy that will speak can't be denied. As in the truth is what is and it won't go away. So we have to accept what is, swallow that pill,
and our job is not to
make the better choice next time.
We don't have to be if you're a Starseed, you don't have to be, the minute I talk about sex, a troll comes in my room because a lot of these men can't handle it, like Earth men can't handle that. So our job as Starseed is not to be everybody's sexual healer. Our job as Starseed is not to save all the freaking animals that exist in existence here and get us sad about it. And our job is also not to, how should I say this? I love recycling, so this is hard to say. But our job is not to be a police officer for recycle and center people's recycling and find faults with people's lifestyle. And our job is also not to be everybody's mental health healing, everybody that comes to you, is we have to do our galactic job. So the latest lesson that I wanted to share with you guys that will help you is if you're feeling depressed or angry or you're getting pulled into these topics like politics, like politicals, huge, you're empathically in the social media currents of what everyone's projecting at you and pulling on you, and triggering your own pain because you've shamanically gone through that to learn on this planet. Is you're not here to do all of those things. Is just go galactic and start doing your galactic job. Trust me, you'll be able to breathe. Trust me. That's all I have to say.
Okay,
and with a lot of people confused with their sexual energy too, I think it's because they're missing that creative component to them. They're not being able to channel their creative energy. Because I look at sex energy and creative energy as the same thing.
Yes.
So I think people are getting stuck on the sex and they're thinking the modern, you know what I mean, like all over-sexualized, all that crap, and they're not associating that with creative energy as well. When you are expressing your creative energy, you're not sexually frustrated, I feel like.
So my question
that sacred chakra
to the females empathically is, and you all know the story, how is it, and the men have to learn this, when a guy gives you the creeps when he's too close into your circumference? When do you sense that?
I sense it through the internet.
I can sense it a mile away. I feel the intentions.
Is it like distance with you? Is it like how close they are to you, or how they're talking to you, or
you just like sense that
I feel the
an ulterior
intentions.
motive.
So there's a creepiness to it.
There's some kind of motive.
There's way people will push their energy onto you, the way they look at you, the way they approach you. There's this intention that I can feel.
Okay.
Whether they're really trying to be my friend or whether it's just for their own needs or
you can feel the energy
to be creepy.
So you see when somebody is sensitive and with respect and gives you space, and you see when somebody's like,
it's all in your field. I don't like that over aggressive.
Yeah.
yeah, this
And
is
that
like,
energy will hit me like a mile away.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so for the males and whatever trolls that made an appearance here, the empathic girls know your shit.
We are not
You're
about
not,
it.
they're not about it, and you're not
And
winning.
if we want it, we will let you know.
Yeah.
And you will
So-
know.
And sometimes
Exactly.
males need to hear this.
Oh,
Women send signals.
in
And
Burning Man, they
males
said, if
can
it's not
respond.
if it's not a fuck yeah, hell yeah, that means no.
If you're
Yeah.
if it's not clear,
If it's
that
not
it's not
like
a yes.
fuck yeah, I like you,
Yeah.
yeah, let's do this.
If you're
she
questioning
does
it.
not know if she likes you or not. Back off.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah, and then more can be worked out, work together.
And to read signs too, you know, if they're coming at you daily or every other day, and just seeing how the girl will respond. If she really wants to talk, there'll be more paragraphs,
You're like, don't
emojis,
stop.
cute things. If she doesn't want to talk, they'll be like, okay, cool, thanks.
Right, like,
All
you don't
right,
have to
great. Have a
try
nice
to-
day.
Like
You know what I
harass-
mean?
Exactly.
If she
harassing-
wants more, they'll
Yeah.
be
Harassing
there.
me daily with 10 threads is not going to
Yeah.
make me like you anymore.
Yeah.
It's
That's
actually
always
good
an
enough.
interesting thing.
Yeah.
Let me just
Yep.
try harder at harassing you and more and more.
See, I learned
Oh, you
in my
want
empathic
more?
skills is to respond when it's called for. It's better than you think you're gonna make it known.
Yeah.
And that for all endeavors, that defines your downloads, your contact, and everything. You have to sense.
Or they're fighting for attention.
Yeah, like where is this?
Yeah. We
see
How am I
everything,
relating to whatever
you
it's
know?
communicating with
We
me?
can see who's talking to us
it's
and
an
who's not
interesting,
talking
it's
to
an
us.
interesting thing for everyone to understand, which is that we're all seeking connection. Right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I get it. There's people that when they watch our videos or
Yeah.
whatever, they want that connection and they feel like a friendship energy with that. And so they persist and they pursue and the thing that I think that we all have to understand is like it's like that seeking energy of like I want connection so bad, like just please speak to me, that on a very fundamental level is actually a repulsive energy. Not like, oh, I don't want I don't like you or like I'm judging you. It's like actually connection cannot be formed on a
Yeah.
fundamental energetic level of connection
Has
and
to be an
harmony.
equal energy
It has to be
exchange.
mutual. So it can't actually be formed on a very structural level if the other person is not reciprocating that. So I get that a lot with people, and it's fine that happens, but you gotta actually find that connection within yourself so that when you're talking with someone else, it actually has, there's a circuitry to it. There's a
Synergy.
flow. There's a
It's
synergy
not just
to
a
it.
one way.
It's not just one-sided.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I feel like it happens with me and you too, because I feel like it's also a lesson for those people to know that you don't need to go out of your way. You don't need to beg for friendship. You don't need to wish for somebody and get upset if somebody's not talking or doesn't like you or isn't giving you attention. That should be a reflection for the self, or what am I missing within my own self that I feel incomplete, that I have to project this person needs to talk to me. I need this information. I need that, you know? It's really about going in yourself and being your own best friend, you know? Being able to sit with yourself alone and not feeling upset if somebody doesn't want to be your friend or give you a romantic experience or anything like that.
And sometimes I think like this, the Zen is sometimes when nothing works. Sometimes Zen is the best. It's like don't engage in nothing.
Yes.
Do
You
your
gotta
thing.
force it.
Yeah, like do your thing and let's see what comes your way. And if that's that deer from way across the forest that's super shy that decides to come to you, well then you go into direction Buddha energy.
Yeah.
Because then you're trustworthy.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's good to do nothing.
Yeah.
Like really, let's see what the other person, if there's any
Because
approach to
sometimes you have to
anything.
be in the energy of receiving, that
Yeah.
feminine energy, than that masculine going out and going to get it energy.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
that's for what the majority of humans are understanding at this time is actually integrating more of that receptivity. Because here's the thing: is that for the majority of humans, when you try to take that approach of go, do it, achieved all the time, it's so masculine. You're introducing more resistance to the equation, and so therefore you're actually prolonging the process of what you are able to receive.
Because you're going against the natural flow of the universe. The
Yeah.
universe isn't just one energy; it's both.
Right.
It's a
It's
dance.
receiving
It's a
and
dance.
going.
It's a push and pull.
It's a push and
Yeah.
pull,
Mhm.
give and take, you know.
Yeah.
And you gotta see how you dance with the current. I saw that when I had 10 years ago, I had a vision. I was in the woods, and I saw these elves dancing on the water current. And only where the current was with the elemental dance,
Yeah.
with the current. And we have to learn that psychically for our psychic path, to dance with where the current takes it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
And that is the currency.
To
the
go, but don't
currency.
push
Yeah.
when there's that
Currency.
waiting period.
Can I
And
say
that,
something?
and then shit
Because that's what
works.
the integration period is.
You know? Yeah.
How do you integrate when you're go, 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 go? You have to be still to integrate.
Yes.
Yeah. Because when you go, trust me, at some point the line cuts
It
and you
works
crash.
with 3D
Yeah, you burn
program.
out.
Go,
It
go, go
does.
works. You
For so long.
See,
Your body will
It doesn't
deteriorate.
actually work, but there's the illusion that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually
Uh-huh.
work. Fundamentally, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
But
you can be a
Yeah, that's
billionaire.
why we're at where we're at.
Wait, let's not even talk about it then.
Yeah,
No.
we can look at a billionaire and see, hey, it worked. The go worked. You got billions of dollars. You're sitting on this 30-room mansion. You have 50 cars.
But he's probably
But,
lonely.
yeah, but look at you.
Probably doesn't have love.
Maybe neurological deterioration. Doesn't look fit, or psychically not even sensing anything.
Not expressing their joy or their
Yeah.
passions.
Yeah, you're completely 3D, and you will be able to tell.
Yeah.
You'll be told where
Completely.
the spiritual vitality is.
Yeah.
If you guys want love tips, book a session with me. I can give you love
The
tips.
love coach.
I have a lot of love in my life, so I can give you love tips.
Krista the love guru.
And sometimes, let me share this. What people are so interested when stuff works for you. Here's, I call it the sandbox analogy. I always go back to when I was a kid. I had a download to look at how was it in the sandbox, playing with the other kids. So I have a toy. Not the best toy, but I love myself. And I love the moment with that partnership that I have created with that toy. And there are kids that don't understand that joy. So they say, give me your toy. So I'm an empath, I'm giving them my toy. And my mom like, yeah, you give everything away, which you shouldn't do. You have to have boundaries. So I'm giving my toy because I want them to be happy as well. Not understanding they seek my happiness, not my toy. So they take my toy,
I
play
have
with
that
it,
play in my
they
life
smash
too.
the toy and say, it doesn't, I can't get it. Why are you so happy? And they pissed. Or you have at my little sandcastle, and they look at you like, look at him. Same goes out for people that want to criticize and whatever
Because
they
they
want
don't know
to.
themselves.
They kick in your sandcastle. They can't
Uh-huh.
stand it that
Or
you're
they're
having
too
fun.
scared to do
And
to
you're
be
harmless. You're not.
themselves, too.
Yeah, you're not doing
Yeah.
anything to the other
They're
kids.
scared of what their
And
And they
parents
kick
are
it
gonna
in,
say,
and then
society will
when you
say.
cry, they kind of get a
You
kick
cry
off it
after
that you're
you're
crying.
Yeah.
Because this
Or
is
it's
what
told
people
you
don't.
can't be yourself.
Yeah. So I've
And little
found
babies don't like that.
essentially they want your happiness
Babies don't come in fighting each other.
because they can't generate it for themselves.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's what I
parasitic, really.
learned in this playing in the sandbox in front of the
But
house.
it's until age 4, so Abra also channeling, like something must happen until age 4, where we start getting programmed by society. Osho says that as soon as you're born into this planet, we are taught comparison, and the number one thing to get to joy is to step off the ladder of comparison and stop comparing yourself to everyone else. So when we walk into the grocery store, this one, by the way, you have like 2 minutes left. I don't know when we
Okay.
started, but.
Was that Insta?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, if you think about it, it's what does all the tabloids say in the store? It's like compete with, who's the celebrity getting a divorce? Like,
It's losing your individuality. You know, they want
oh, yeah,
everyone
let's
to
talk
be the
about
same.
that. Let's talk
And what's
about
important is all of us right now, we all have a unique blueprint. That's what I'm big on too, is our unique blueprint to express here, because yes, we are a whole, but we are also fragmented from the whole to express our unique blueprint. So you can't really look at somebody else and copy them, because that's not your blueprint, that's not your mission, that's not your path, that's not, not to say that we can't have similar things, but I mean, to the T, there's always going to be that unique blueprint,
Yeah, there's
So
something.
going to try to copy someone else is only, I feel like it's only going to make you more confused. So I experience that a lot in myself. I have people who follow me a lot, and I can just see into some things, and I can see where it's a nice inspirational thing, and then I'll see some people where they just don't have direction, and they see me have direction, and no matter what, they just try to do exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's not going to work for them. Ultimately, they're still going to feel lost because they're not accessing their unique blueprint. You're not going to feel fulfilled unless you're you have your you're feeling.
It's
your
like
own
you can
codes.
train like Bruce Lee, but that worked for Bruce Lee.
I think that.
You can learn all the lyrics of Bob Marley, but that worked for Bob Marley. That's why he was Bob Marley.
But Bob
So-
Marley smoked weed, and weed makes you know yourself better.
Yeah,
As a tool.
You smoke a lot of weed, so.
yeah, but you can. But listen, you
No,
can
but-
smoke a lot of weed, and it might not work for you.
Yeah, you can get
That's what I
lost
mean.
too.
It's
You know?
really it's the
Mhm.
vibration that
It's
you
what
are
works
in
for
the
you.
moment is what will correlate to everything else. So if you're smoking weed and you're in the vibration of your true self, then it accentuates that
Mhm.
process. If you're in the vibration of paranoia and
Not being your
and
true self. and trying to be
disconnection,
Then
someone
it locks
else.
everything off.
And
Yeah.
But sports also, like, if you think about it, sports is constantly detoxing your cells. So like, you ever just had a really good workout, and then after you feel super refreshed, it's like we have this stereotype of the jocks, kind of, yeah, I'm the best, but they're really just in their own vortex of their
Mhm.
athletic.
It's all about
Same.
them, yeah. And
Yeah,
people
but
feel
but
pressured.
because they were just worked out.
Yeah, and people don't go to gyms that don't go to gyms because they're intimidated by that also. But,
Mhm.
But my question to Christy, have you ever looked at something where you're like, I like that, I want to be that, but that's not me. So how do I do something that I can feel something what I feel looking at?
How do you take it and make it
Definitely.
your own?
Well, what I've kind of realized is like I don't really see anyone doing exactly all the different things combined that I like. So I have a person in each field that I like. Maybe it's comedy, maybe it's music, maybe it's science, maybe it's spirituality. And I look at all of the different aspects that I like from each individual and combine the energy.
Like
'Cause
an
I-
alchemy.
Yeah, because I feel kind of
Mhm.
like it's not really about following the person or their footsteps. It's about kind of trying to tap into that energy that they
Essence,
have and
yeah.
learning how it feels in your body and learning what that energy brings up in you. So
Mm.
I think it's okay to have like role models, but to like pick and choose what you like
Mhm.
from each thing and see how you would like to integrate that in your life in your own way. And it can
Mm.
be intimidating if you're the only one doing it that exact way. But just by seeing that other people are doing different aspects of it shows that it's working, so why not combine it, you know?
Yeah, which brings me to the topic, maybe if you have ideas, is we have seen spiritual leaders crumble.
Let me see if I can see
Yeah.
this. You
And-
guys keep
Yeah, and not naming names, people who were in tarot cards, angels, and healing and whatnot. And for years and years, you followed that spiritual leader, and all of a sudden they're having a fit. Starseed, this is all crap. Angels is the devil, and all of a sudden they're falling. Everything goes dark. They want to debunk everything. People that had their own experience, and now they're fallen. And it breaks your heart because your direction was your put all yourself, it's called despiriting, on that leader, thinking, you know, as long as they're running and then that I'm the champ, and when they fall, I'm falling with them. That's when you lose yourself. And that these fallen spiritual leaders or starseeds are like your worst nightmare and the worst critics, because if they've fallen off, they couldn't find their own magic within themselves. Now they denounce everything, and it messes you up because you put all your bets on that horse. And I always say is that don't place all bets on one horse or all eggs in one basket. Is you need to stick with where you are in all of this. And if there's something that you see that somebody likes, take the essence, like a little bit of pepper, a little bit of I don't know, a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of this, make it an alchemy of flavoring the existence of you, but give it the signature where you remain with you. Don't try to be somebody else.
'Cause
So
I
yeah.
feel with me, like I feel like, and I've even gotten guided like towards confirmation from my guides that just viewing me and starseeds in general, just viewing will like they get that spark, you know, they start to feel that remembrance. And how I feel is like they just need to know that like to feel that spark, but to not think like this is what it is. This is how it has to be, like, you know, like when people view me, I feel like I can awaken dormant parts of themselves, but that doesn't mean that you need to be doing like exactly what I'm doing, or
Yeah.
this is the way to ascension, or this is the way to be a starseed, or yada yada yada.
The tendency is to see that spark, and you're absolutely right, because just by viewing someone that is living in that frequency, you will get inspired and you'll get the downloads. But the tendency is that people want to try to put that spark in a bottle. They want to try to control that, and they want to try to make that an object or make that their own. And the moment that you start to say, oh, this person has it, and now give it to me, and I'm going to hold
I wanna
on
be
to
just
it and
like
try
that,
to control
or-
it. Be exactly. It doesn't actually work, because what you're feeling is a divine radiance that it can't be captured by just being a certain way or thinking a certain way or dressing a certain
And
way.
that's even just with the whole Starseed community, just being a
Completely.
Starseed.
Completely.
It doesn't have to be white clothes and this picture.
Yeah,
it
it's
And
doesn't
kumbaya.
have to look like that.
you
You know?
gotta do,
So we look at me, I'm like military pants and like hip hop
Yeah,
halfway.
Yeah, I got gauges. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, it's like
it doesn't
really.
matter. Like, none of that stuff matters after a certain point. And you, when you're in tune with yourself, you can feel who's just expressing themselves because that's their natural
Authentically.
frequency, that's their natural flow, and who's like, love and light, namaste, because that's the
Like a
cool
mask.
words to say.
Uh-oh.
But
And you're not down. You're not down by mimicking the words or dressing like somebody who's a raver when you're not a raver, because ravers know you're not a raver
Yeah,
because
and
you're not
it's the
moving
same-
like them.
it's the same thing with the spiritual community. Like when I immediately know who's actually living in that frequency of what they're conveying, or that's just regurgitated words.
or it's just an aesthetic or
Yeah.
something like
Are you
that.
wearing white robes because that's truly feels good in your soul and that's your core essence that you want to convey, or
that
like
you
you
feel the most
saw?
authentic in,
Yeah.
that brings you the most alive.
You know what was really helpful when I was like 22? I've struggled with fashion until 32. I'm 32, so I've struggled with fashion up until this age. I love it, but it takes a lot of my thought forms unnecessarily. So, anyways, but what helped was if you get into fabrics and color therapy and shapes, that can help your logic mind calm down. So if you just think about or textures, like if you're into black, like Christy likes black, but she has lots of different types of black, like Roz's mom loves black and white. So you might be more of a texture person, like people on, like our tongues have certain taste buds. I know I'm going there. This makes sense, trust me. Some people eat food for texture, some people eat it for taste, some people eat it for health purposes and don't care. So same for your clothes. If you're doing it for how it feels on your physical body, or the ethical way it was made, or that's saturated, like you smoking sativa, that you can feel the colors or so whatever you do, or you like wearing rainbows because you're a gay person, that makes you feel like that's really who you are. That's really it, and that will
Or you have
attract
pink
you.
hair.
Yeah, like, I
But
really
not to
wanna
do it
thank
just
you.
because somebody
I
else
wanted
is doing it. You know, don't be like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm interested in Kundalini yoga. So, oh, these people are always dressed like this and act like that. So that must be my whole spiritual path. And that is, you know, that
You're
makes you very
limiting yourself.
limited. Yes, you're narrowing yourself. You're narrowing
Yeah, you.
your multifaceted self. You know.
Yeah.
The other component to it as well is like when you evolve your consciousness and you become more identified with the truth of who and what you are rather than just the form that appears, then there's a lot less attachment to even how it is that you are being perceived in someone else's experience. So it's like you begin to learn how to honor your form and express yourself in a very true, authentic way, and also know that the true essence of who you are is before the form that appears in this moment. So that balance and that dance is a really beautiful thing to integrate into your life, because you can be fully authentically expressed with your clothing and with how you are expressing yourself, but there's no thought in it. It's just like, this is just what I am.
Yeah.
This is just
So that's
what
why
I
I was
am.
talking about how like I like
Yeah.
to express myself through clothes, because I don't put too much thought on it. I just think of what makes me feel good, or like when I craft things, I'll think of like what do I want to wear, but I won't think like, oh, what are these people making, or like what do I have to wear that will make me feel good because that person's wearing it, you know, rather than being in touch with myself, you know.
Yeah, and that's really what's attractive. Like that's the when people want to be around you, it's because they can feel that aspect of.
Because it's an
of you.
alignment.
Yeah, that alignment.
So whether it's from another planetary system, that outfit makes you feel like you're from that planetary system, or
So like here's an example. So like say like this symbol, right? I wear this symbol a lot. But or like the Ankh, you know,
Yeah.
or something like that, because these are things that are connected to my soul. I was wearing this when I was like in 2nd grade, you
Wearing
know,
what?
the Ankh.
Oh,
The Ankh. It was a
yeah.
symbol that was just close to my soul. But somebody could look at that and just think, oh, this is what's working, this is what she's putting on herself, so then they start adorning themselves to that without even knowing what it's about, without even knowing the history behind it or something like that. So that's a perfect example of just copying something without even, you know, just picking somebody else's essence without that being like an essence you're integrating within yourself, you know.
You know, you guys, I'm still so confused about fashion on this planet. Like, it's really, I feel that a jumpsuit would just make everything a gray jumpsuit with a zipper. You know the thing about.
I mean, this
But
is what a lot of the galactic races wear.
It
This
is,
kind of thing.
it is, but like, certain clothes make me feel differently.
Yeah.
And a gray jumpsuit every single day. I mean, if you think about, like, well, what if you had that for 500 years in the Pleiades, a gray jumpsuit? You know,
I think it's cool to express that we have the expression here, though.
It's amazing.
But I think people shouldn't be lost in it. People
Yeah.
shouldn't have it as a mask.
That's the whole game. Is
You
that
know?
is that we live in.
You have great style. You pick whatever you're feeling.
Yeah.
You
that's
do whatever
wonderful.
to your hair you're feeling.
It's
You know?
wonderful.
And people love that.
Be
People are
yourself.
onto your fashion because they see you just doing what makes you happy. You know?
Yeah. Oh, well, that's part of the also wanting the. See, this is gonna sound superficial, but it's really not. It's really deep. So part of the awakening we were saying earlier that it happened in layers is I wanted to have an alternative job so I can dress however I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
That actually was a huge driving factor for getting into the Starseed work, not knowing what I was getting into. It was like a really strong
To be able to
desire.
express yourself
Yeah.
without restriction.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's very important.
Mhm.
Of course.
Very important.
Of course.
Because we're expressing our energies too.
Exactly.
Through that.
Like you
It's
having
art.
the desire to
Uh-huh.
wear the clothes that you want is a reflection of your desire to be and express authentically who you are.
Right, like Raw likes hip hop clothes, or he had.
But I
a
mean, just
hip-hop
because
clothes.
you post a photo and you get 300 likes doesn't mean somebody should take the same exact outfit and post it the same day. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, they can look at you and be like, I love 90s, I love us, but then there's some that literally just try to copy and paste, and that's what I'm talking about too, that I see
Yes,
within
because
myself too, you know?
they think they own the numbers.
Mhm.
So I do exactly what
This
you're
is what's
doing,
working, so I
I
have
can
to
get
do it.
numbers. That's why right now hip hop sucks the charts, because every rapper raps like the
okay.
rapper that's selling,
Okay.
and that sounds like crap.
Okay, well,
Oh, go ahead. No, you go
well,
ahead.
there's validity in doing. There's a logic to that copying. There's a logic to that.
Well, okay.
I go deep with it too, with what we were talking before about having some just not having that essence and wanting that essence, and then just some remembering that essence and not knowing how to take it within their own.
But because if you
Yeah.
copy Picasso, the fact remains
why
that
it's
you copied
That's
Picasso.
his
Maybe
unique
because it's a
blueprint that he was
style.
translating when
Yeah,
he was doing
yeah,
his paintings.
so-
Nobody can
Overall-
copy that.
Right,
Yeah.
it's an overall thing. Okay, for Instagram. For
A copy is a
instance,
copy.
They can
put
make
this
it
way.
like it, but
Yeah.
it's not going to have that same
Yeah.
magic that
Yeah.
it had.
A copy is a copy. Like, let's say if
Yeah.
I copy vitamin C, it doesn't nourish your body like eating a lemon.
Right.
There
Okay, so
is a
like
difference.
So
Like a
clones.
lemon and then lemon juice from like the
Yeah.
Santa Cruz
Yeah,
bottles
yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So it's like cloning a human. You don't want to clone a human.
See what happened to the
necessarily. Why
Greys.
would you clone a human?
But see what happened to the Greys. They lost the
Yeah.
gender, they lost the emotional
They lost
body,
emotion. We're
and they went
supposed to be
extinct because the
different.
souls
See,
did
that's how
not
I
integrate.
think it goes to deep patterns too, even galactic too,
Yeah.
because
See, that's where cloning comes from.
because I was talking to I was watching something one time, and she was talking about how the origins of everything all started and all that, and she was talking about how there were certain races that were upset at the divine love and creator race and our source and everything because we had this magic and we were going to teach them, but they couldn't comprehend it at the point, and they were mad because they saw us having it be so natural to us that they couldn't move past it, because if you don't know how to form energy, you're going to harm people. So if you don't know how to work with energy, it's going to be destructive. So we were giving them increments that they could work with, and they got jealous and then tried to recreate that, and that was the whole artificial recreation of the divine templates and everything. Like
That's
they
the
could try
fact
to
it's-
create
yeah.
artificial Merkabos or everything and
Yes,
all that stuff,
yes,
but it's
yes.
not going to work because it's not that
It's not
divine
holding,
blueprint,
it's
not
not-
that divine
I
essence.
Yeah,
saw
it's-
Shannon and Dean said that they went up to the 11th dimension with that, but they couldn't go 12th dimensional like
Yeah,
Avatar.
it's basically AI against NI, artificial
Yeah.
intelligence against natural intelligence.
So I
Yeah.
think that stems here too of that maybe people who have that energy will flow to it of just not being your authentic self too, and that's what society I feel like has taught us too. You know, just to
Yeah, we
They
copied,
take something
They
from
we
should-
somebody
copied
else
to make
or
money.
Yeah, and
We copied to actually make money, I think.
Yeah, but you see the light and dark fight in a series on Netflix, Dragon Prince.
Survival.
Very, very ill how they illustrate it. There is the sorceress of the light, and then the dark sorceress. And the dark sorceress say, you don't need your heart or tune into the essence. You just take a magical creature and squeeze
But
it
that's
out of
not
them.
divine love. That's not
Yeah.
divine essence.
So they kill magical fairy creatures in order to cast spells. But when the creature is dead and the spell is used, it backfires and it doesn't stay with them. That's black magic. And the divine ones is what one of the beings in the movie learns from an elven sorcerer. Tune in with your heart to the essence and feel it, and that's what makes you a creator, a wizard, and also a sorcerer. That's what you mean, X. Where we were back then sourcing original energy, and the others that went techno mage into technological magic, technological industry, said we don't need all of this stuff. We can do this mechanically, and that's where we split.
Without
you know?
understanding the fundamentals.
And we're
of
coming
the
back
true
to there's natural ways of creating something that assists you, and there are artificial ways that are not sustainable. Look at the pyramids outlast any building on this planet to this day.
Or how they talk to
That's
how when
'cause
there's
it's
ships,
divinely
everything that's
built.
not divine essence will just disappear, and
Yes.
the only thing standing will be what was made out of divine essence.
Yeah, that's why when Earth had this jump through timelines, all the major cities and technology that used to be here before Atlantis, you won't find anything because it was obliterated. Because by the, you can say, higher dimensional laws of light, is that nothing of that weaponry will ever cross into this dimension. These humans here need to figure it out. Some help, as STARSEED, we're here to help to raise it. Not all are galactic incarnates. Some are human incarnates, as in Earth incarnates, but that needs to be for the anchoring. Nobody's better or lesser or more. The dentist is the dentist for that purpose. The plumber is the plumber. The lawyer. Everybody has to enrich one another to fulfill the whole. So we come back to the point of origin, and everybody can actually evolve into the apex of their destiny. That was channeled.
Yeah, you can tell. You're in the flow. When you stop, it's got the punch.
As the avatar, as Ra in that moment, the way that you were moving and the mannerisms.
And it's tough to hold. Earth is still dense. It's like very tough. Like I want to do this like there's certain states, altered states that you can be in, and my record was holding that for 4 days, and then you like, oh,
yeah,
you can't hold this because to some you look like a super freak or you're channeling ultra crap, and others are like, oh my God, you make so much sense.
Yeah.
This makes so much sense. You ever had a moment where somebody's you're in the moment of a conversation and you're realizing it's like deja vu and everything in one, and you're like, this makes so much sense right now.
Yeah, you're realizing the blueprint.
Yeah. So that's why I totally get it when you said that with the artificial macabre, where I believe that we introduced bacteria to this planet by opening fissures in time and space with ancient nuclear energy that we released, which we were not supposed to. We created,
which was the atomic bomb energy, because you guys go into the
yeah,
Anunnaki history too,
Yeah,
and how somebody came through our atmosphere with nuclear galactic weapons, and that's why we have that technology.
I think Einstein was used. They gave him the formula. This was manipulation because nuclear power is not to benefit humankind at all. It's you splitting an atom. An atom is a miniature sun. You're shooting it, and when the sun decays, everything decays, and that energy is used to create electricity. This can't be the future. Yeah. You know, and Earth is being monitored since we used the first atomic bomb. After the ancient atomic bombs, the ships came back and checked us.
Starseeds are on the Tesla timeline. We're on the Tesla timeline.
Yeah.
Top time citizen with me.
Yeah. So just know this, that they had these nuclear missile silos in the 80s where they had like 50 rockets and they did test launch and stuff, and ships came down and shut everything down. And the same happened to Russia. All the nuclear stuff was shut down. When we tried to send a nuclear warhead to the moon, guess what?
And that's when they say civilizations went inside the Earth too, and when they they came to interfere too because we were messing with it.
Yeah, like we like Leia Capitelli said, we have to earn our allowance for interstellar travel and multidimensional travel, and with atomic power, there's no clearance. We're not allowed to land on the moon, especially on the dark side, by the United Nations of ETs that are there, because we try to blow it up. Can you imagine the insanity? We're sending a rocket up there to blow up the moon to see what it does. Like, to me, I'm like baffled by this insanity.
Well, the whistleblowers.
It just blows me
the
away.
Whistleblowers, Emery, and
The councils feel the same way. Just like, what
or in somewhere in the 50s, past the Polynesian island groups, they blew up an island, and what they did, they took the natives and removed them to the other island, just so they can blow the shit up, and it's you can't live there to this day because it's radiated. That level of insanity, I have
and then
no
people
explanation.
wonder why we aren't having more contact.
Yeah.
Because of what we're doing, what we've done.
Yeah. And that physicists that let's say, not Michio Kaku, but physicists that like average physicists do not get that when you blow up a nuclear bomb, look at the images of the old one. You see the layers of the sediments of the dimensional ionosphere stratus. You see how you create a fissure.
Yeah.
You rip a tear
tear.
to time and space, and they're not getting it. That means you're either possessed or you're fully manipulated. That you're not understanding that. You know.
Well, yeah, and I mean that is part of the play here on Earth, which
Yes,
is
yeah.
thought
Those are the people
programming.
who are
You're
power.
just blinded.
Yeah, like that this is even an ongoing thing, that this is even a future planning, and to me it's like what timeline are
it's
these
the
people on?
mentality of just the conquering. It's the mentality of takeover. I'm taking your toy because I can. That's all the perpetrators always say, the same thing. Why did you do that? Because I can. That's what they think.
And this
So
and the stuff.
make their own
Yeah, and I
rules.
seen a documentary that's mind blowing. It's so deep. Oppenheimer, who built the atomic bomb, after that thing was dropped on Hiroshima, that dude was a mess. He said, we did this before in ancient times, and he quoted the Bhagavad Gita saying, now I have become death, destroyer of worlds. Oppenheimer knew damn well what he was doing. So we have ancient knowledge of, we shall not do this again.
Yeah.
We saw in Aquaman how Atlantis sank. Wonderful how they said it.
Yeah.
The crystal power was misused. They abused the trident and the inheritance of Poseidon, which is the inheritance of Ea, Enki, Sumerian god. And they said that Atlantis was highly advanced technology, while the rest of the world was still, with chariots and horses and stuff. And we blew it up.
Yeah.
We managed to mess it up and blow it up. And the lesson, again, is to learn from, I always say, never let the lesson lesser you. Make the better choice to moderate the energy distribution for the wealth of all on this planet. And everybody can have, and it can all be magical, but I call it self-aligning software of your magical codons and your CDs of levitation and all of that stuff, you will get that back when you show the integration of the maturity that you can. Let's see, like the student in the martial arts flicks who does not get taught the lesson by the abbot unless he has filled the well.
When he's ready,
And he has to run down all those stairs all the way to the valley, bring back the water, and the abbot watches. Are you spilling anything? Are you tripping? Are you maintaining that simple task? And then after years and years of practice, the abbot was like, I see you now have mastered that. The well is filled and it stays filled. And then the abbot goes and snaps his finger and the well disappears. And then the student goes like, why did you do that? And the abbot was like, well, the well is you. Now you're filled.
Yeah.
And the dude goes, oh shit.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange.
Uh-huh.
He was supposed to build that wall.
Right.
And then the abbot removes the wall and said, you were just rebuilding your own wall.
Yeah.
And you kept rebuilding your own, not seeing that the psychic energy can be more than what you think it is.
Yeah.
And then when he mastered that, he removed the wall, and Strange is like, oh shit. That's how we mind screw ourselves with ourselves. And sometimes I say, and hopefully it's going to be lighter in this day and age, but people need to carry their buckets of water before they can attain a maturity. And I heard that people don't be duped. I've seen people, not naming names, they're online, I'm the son of Shiva, and the other one, I've integrated my 72-dimensional self, and one of my aspects governs 3 universes. Get the frack out of here.
My aura is 300 feet.
Yeah, my aura is like kind of like the level of Sedona, so you could even talk to me entering Sedona, like too much. I heard it.
It's not
You get more when you're in integrity.
Yeah,
You want to know
yeah.
who's going to have that integrity and who's going to be that true ambassador to bring what needs to be here.
And it'll be known in the magical schools of Egypt. If you have your 6-dimensional avatar integrated, well, here is a little tiny lake. Walk that water
Watch me
path.
open a vortex.
You know? Here I just opened the vortex. Want to see my Stargate? Yo, look at here. And this is I heard so much crap. Or somebody, I know where some Stargates are, but I'm not going to show you.
Sit down and we should just send them to their houses.
Oh my God.
I know where their vortex is. It's porcelain. It's under the ass. Or that stuff that they drop. Yeah, but I don't mean a rant, but it's like this. Some people, they talk that talk, and you introduce them. Let's say, I want to do this in the future. Retreat groups with Mount Shasta.
But that's what it is, though. Do
They
you see
run,
it's just
they
talk,
run.
though? When do you see any of that in a video? It's just talk about it.
It's just talk.
Right?
It's just talk. I heard in a video where somebody said they had integrated their
I do this,
6-dimensional
I do
self.
that, but then it's
And I
not
couldn't-
in physical form.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's theoretical rhetoric, and nothing is here. When somebody says they're a mechanic, I say, well, you know what? My exhaust is kind of corrupt. Can you fix it? And that's where the rubber meets the road, where your test will be on. It's like, does that hold any weight? Or, if I want my teeth fixed, I go to the dentist. But if you have that label that you say that you're the dentist, or you're the STARSEED ambassador, then I expect some skill.
Yeah.
See, when I ask Christy, it's not to test her. I want to know what's your experience.
I
And
test
she can say,
Christy all the time.
then I can be like, what is your experience? When I ask you, then I can reflect on that's my experience,
Yeah.
and I can sense. You all know we have a bullshit detector.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody runs their lip and all of the stuff they can do and backflips and all these acrobatic maneuvers that you have never seen and you won't see because you're not ready yet,
Yeah.
they're full of crap.
See, I'm like the opposite. I don't talk about stuff unless I'm presenting it.
Me too.
And I could be way more than I'm presenting. People don't know that, but I'm not going to go out there unless I'm 100% confident
Why waste
that
your
I
time?
can. Yeah.
Why waste your time?
That's very
Mhm.
So I work on
That's right.
projects. Once they finished, I present them.
wasted.
Like I did my helmet. I didn't announce that prior.
No.
I did the helmet. Now I'm selling helmets. These tuner devices. I said I worked on the Ascension bed, and I have it, and I'm working on it, but I'm not announcing that before it's actually in physical form.
Yeah.
Because the people is, I know we all psychologically want to impress people, but if you want to present all of those ideas, and that got me very, very mad when I had a discussion.
But it's still confusion.
Q&A.
Yeah, okay, give me 1 second. I had a physicist said to me, Ra, all the stuff that you mentioned, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, people.
Let's cut the conversation, because I was going on with what I want to do, and
Yeah.
you know how it is, Christy, like a lot of stuff comes
Yeah.
in, and I want to do this and this, and then you're like, okay, I'm mentioning a lot of stuff and a lot of possibility. I'm kind of like annoyed by myself,
Yeah.
because I ain't getting shit done. So
So
now,
large source of
And if it's freaking getting a crystal and a copper wire as a wrap and it's $5, get the damn $5. Go to the hardware store, go to the crystal store and sell your first wrap.
Yeah.
That's a wrap.
Yeah.
And that's
and then you have something to
basics.
show for that.
The Krista channel that
Christy,
one.
this guy's asking 2 times.
Yeah.
We're just talking about what are your thoughts on creating a large amount of financial currency?
Oh, well, that's a really good topic actually, because I feel like money is a really great opportunity for you to explore your thresholds of belief. And that can be in any regard, whether it's like the limitation you have on finances mentally, whether it's from your upbringing, from society, from how people like you are viewed in society. It's just such a great opportunity for you to really dive within and explore what you believe is possible for you, why you believe that, and what you want to believe instead. But when it comes to money, I've found that you've got to have a relationship with money just like you would have a partner or a relationship with a friend. I've noticed there were times in the past where I would try to force money to come and it wouldn't come. And I would get these insights like just, let it go, just treat it like a friend, let it flow, all this kind of stuff. And I would say to myself, okay, like I'm not going to insist on it. I'm not going to depend on it. I'm going to just let it come. I'm gonna set the intention and trust what shows up. And it's funny, sometimes 5 minutes later I would get money from like a client or something like that, and I'm like, see, like you
When
just
you're
have
not
to have,
dwelling on it.
you just gotta have a balanced relationship with it, one that's not demanding. Just like you wouldn't demand things from your friend, why demand from the universe money? You know, it's something that you kind of have to find a balance with. You can literally treat it like it's a separate person, a separate individual, and you can look at what are my problems with this, and you can kind of step outside of your body in a sense where you can put the thought, this is something they do in psychology and in therapy, you can kind of take that aspect of yourself, put it on the couch next to you and talk to it and get to know, why am I like this? Where do I want to go? And this is where future self-work comes in handy too. That's something I do a lot. Just like we go back and heal the inner child and say, hey, you're fine, like you're in this great relationship now, you're in this great job now, like it's gonna be okay, trust it. Future self-work is also really important too, because right now you might not be in a good financial spot, but what I've really learned along the journey is to not act from that bad space financially. Like there was a time when I was in a really bad financial spot and I felt desperate, you know, and I thought to myself, okay, next month I know money is coming, I'm not going to feel this way, so I don't want to act out from this point of attraction. I'm going to imagine what that version of me with the money feels like and act that way, because when we're in that desperate spot, we might do things that, like, they might be in alignment, but we have that
But you
desperate
see, you can't
mentality.
imagine what that would feel like. Is already, Esther Hicks, you're not in agreement with you. The you is not in. You can't see the you over there.
Yeah.
So that's why you're not making it, because you can imagine the excitement that you would have with that. That's already the separation that we create. You know?
And also, it's to want more financial currency. You just want more abundance in general, but you're going to be in a lack of abundance if you're not functioning from your true self and your passions and your joys. So a lot of questions for me too when I was starting my Etsy and all this stuff was, how can I bring in more money, or how can I pick it up? And the answers was always just be you, do you, get into the spotlight, follow your joys, make what makes you happy, not what you think other people will want. Just do it authentically, and then the money will come. So it's just being in that energy of
money,
abundance,
and money
which
is,
will bring the money.
Yeah, and we have to also get the stigmatized notion away from money is the root of all evil. It's not only mankind and the choices mankind makes with that. Money is a root chakratic amplifier of service to the planet and to the people, and it reflects that. And a friend of mine named Corey Herder, who has Love University, said to me, he said, you want more money? Yeah, then the universe is asking you, you want more money? Okay, so what is your service? And a lot of young people think, give me the money, I don't want to service anybody. And that self-fulfilling deal does not work.
Well,
There
you
needs to be an
It has to be a
exchange.
balance. You have to
You
give out the
have
energy
to
to
give
have
out.
the...
You ask for something. You want like.
See, that's where you
wanna
function from the masculine,
Yeah.
and then the feminine universe comes in and
Yeah.
matches that.
Yeah,
you know?
but she says, what is your service? You want me, but what is your service that I will appear? And you have to be in service for that. And that's how we make this exchange happening. That's why we have created a value system. So money will never disappear, because we need a root chakratic value system to move resources in the dimensional plane. And that will be for a long time. And in the upper realms, it has to do with energy. It's just higher forms of energy. PayPal money is already digital money. It is already non-material. So Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
There's always going to be some form of exchange.
Yeah, there's
Some
always
form.
an exchange. Inhale, exhale. There's an exchange in the universe. What is your service towards that? And you're going to get that. Yeah,
So
of
right
course.
now it's money, but we need to look at it as energy.
Yeah, and not focus on I want $60,000. You have to focus on what can you build, or what can your service be that you can ask for $60,000. And you better have an object, and it better has a value that does something for somebody. You know, and then we're talking. You can attract that and bring that to you. And for a lot of millennials, you know, they all want money. You know, couch potato, mommy pays the rent, mommy internet and all that stuff. And not to diss anybody, we all lived at home, but there is a way. There's no excuse. You can have PayPal, Etsy, Depop, all of these stores where it's 20 cents to upload a product, to create your own craft. Anybody that listens right now, anybody has a talent. I don't care what it is. You're born with gifts that you have. Unlock those gifts, find your way, and turn it into something, you know?
And the world isn't going in this 9-to-5 modern
You don't
stuff
have
that
to.
we had. Right now we're
We're
being
moving away from that
guided
model.
to learn how to make that abundance and that joy and that happiness off of our own passions and our own creativity.
Yeah.
Amen to
Yeah, and like Basha said, follow your greatest excitement. The side effect is money as in abundance. They showed this grandma who is like the top paid book critic because her passion is to read books real fast, and she didn't even see that coming. Signed up online, wrote blogs, and then Amazon. She gets free books from whatnot and gets paid for it as a side effect because she loves doing it. And she didn't see that coming, living on a retirement check. Now she bought her own house. Like close to 80 years old. Can you imagine this? So we have to
And that's
understand
why
now.
people don't have
You're
to be
free.
in scarcity energy too. That shit, I'm losing it. I'm
That happens.
losing it.
That happens.
That
Scarcity is an illusion. There's nothing lack of.
Oh, that there is a space and there is an opportunity for each one of us to make abundance off of our unique talents. So you don't have to be afraid that you have to be this career or that career or that career just because it's what's in the mainstream. Like you said, this lady was reading books and she didn't even know that there was that spot for somebody to make money off of that. I follow a girl that she loved going to the gym and now she's sponsored and she's an influencer just because she liked going to the gym and she wanted to better her butt, but now that's her career.
Yeah.
You know, like just follow your passions and the career will just unfold.
Yeah.
You know, like people will contact you for
There was a brother who started with zero income. He makes like $3.5 million, and don't try to copy. This is because it worked for him. He bought everything Apple had with everything, went to work, worked in a hardware store, saved his money, every little gadget, and reviewed it. And he did it commercially, systematically. Now he is the gadget man on YouTube. 500,000 subscribers, and Apple sponsors the guy. Any new release Apple has, he gets the gadget.
Nice.
So GoPro, everybody ships to this guy, and he gets paid for it.
And you also
Wonderful.
Have to,
He loves what he's doing.
You have to like your display. So if you have a product or service and it's in alignment and it's spiritual or whatever, what was I saying?
alignment with it.
With the display, right? Okay, right. So so if you send negative thought forms at your own creation,
That's what people are gonna see.
it's like
Yes.
remember with the whole word is manifest, the word spelling. Oh yeah, you're feeling a little insecure. Fine, that's okay. There's a buffer zone between the manifestation.
Totally.
But if you start really going, oh my god, my video, my makeup is running. I was talking.
You're feeding that energy to it. Because when we
feed
make
it,
stuff, like
yeah.
when we make our stuff, we put energy into it.
You
Like
begin.
when I'm feeling off, I don't
it.
touch my stuff. I'm not making stuff.
Yeah,
that day.
if I'm not in the
Right,
flow, I don't
Uh-huh.
feel keys. If I'm off, I'm not even making
Yeah.
orders. The days
Same
are
with my
days.
readings too, my card readings. If I'm experiencing something when I need to work it out, I'm not doing anything until I'm in a good
You
space.
got to be clear
You
with
know?
your
It's the
work.
same with your
You can
lover.
feel it
It's the same
immediately.
with your lover. If your lover, Ron knows what I'm talking about. Like if you're talking like you trying to get with somebody and you're like you're texting them like yeah well I ain't shit. Like if you're actually texting something like that, they're not gonna be attracted to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
at
you
all.
already selling
That's the
yourself
energy
as
you're
you're belittling
projecting.
yourself.
Yeah.
You
Actually, the
programming
apples I
your
have
lover
are
not
partially
to
rotten.
feel
I
you.
don't know. I wouldn't even eat them myself. Well, I'm not buying
Like,
apples
well,
from
why
you.
do you like me? I actually don't look great
This is
today.
extreme
I
now,
actually
you
don't
know?
like that.
Yeah, it's so true.
But if I go to the marketplace, I want you to sell golden apples. I want your apples to levitate, and you gotta sell that.
You gotta
shit
be
out of
sure
your
to have the
apples.
other person feel they're sure.
Yeah, you gotta
You're
feel
questioning,
yourself.
they're gonna question.
I mean,
It's different from sharing, like, you know what, I had a really like you have heart-to-heart connections with people, and it's like, you know what, I had a really hard time, I need to talk to you, I went through some pain. That's different. That's not like
They're not
revealing.
labeling themselves. They're just expressing their experience.
Right,
you know?
they're connect. There's like a different intention.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about a Pisces. I'm thinking about a Pisces. But some people, it's this. I don't know how to say it. I'm trying not to be mean about it. It's like there's a certain threshold that every human being, even Starseed, has to what they can take with the nonsense. And when I say nonsense, it's like, well, you have to take care of yourself. Like, okay, fine. Billy doesn't shave. That's okay. Billy doesn't like to shave. Or Billy, that's not a good example, but you know, it's the point where it's like there's a certain balance to the essence of what you're trying to convey to people.
So always says like
Like don't be trying to be too like clinical and puritanical, but don't be a Sasquatch. No offense, no, don't say that. Don't be stinker bomb.
okay.
Present yourself
Yeah,
one
that's
way
an extreme.
and
It's search your feelings. I say search your feelings. If there's something where you're beginning to tolerate, you're already lying to your escrow.
Dang.
You know, you like Esther Hicks said that, but I'm gonna modulate that a little bit. If you're talking to a pit bull, and you know there's a pony inside of that pit bull, but the pit bull right now is coming at you, well, it's not a pony coming at you right now, and you're not petting it. Just make no mistake. Don't put in your escrow, well, let me find that pony. And while the pit bull goes, like, I know there's a pony in there. Like, you know, it's like, don't try to clean the back of the gum line of an alligator.
Yeah.
They are snappy. That's their nature. and I know you believe in rainbows, and I've seen fairies and all that, but alligators are alligators.
Yeah.
So there are facts that you have to face where tolerance ends.
Yeah.
That's true.
No more tolerance, you know? Know that.
Yeah.
That's all.
Something I wanted to say about the money thing really quick was something that I've really been focusing on that Bashar has said is abundance is the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
It's like when I decide, let's say, Krista, in 2 weeks we're flying to Hawaii. Why? Because we can.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping anything for anything.
Well,
We'll do it,
What we were
and that's it.
talking
You
about-
know?
Yeah.
What we were talking
Your
about
will.
on the porch
Yeah.
with Christy was getting comfortable with having certain sums, and Abraham Hicks says that you have to energetically spend it in your mind. So if you want $100, put a $100 bill in your wallet, and don't physically spend it. Just you can spend it in your imagination when you see stuff you like. You have that power to spend it.
Yeah, and I also realized like something that Bashar mentioned recently. He's like, this is the thing that like Abraham Hicks like doesn't always talk about, is that you already are pulsing. The core of your being is pulsing the frequency of everything because you are everything. So you're naturally attracting more of everything to you. It's just that this human brain is blocking off that. It's like intercepting it. So like
we're doing things to resist it.
Like
Yeah,
our
like,
inner
yeah.
being is that billionaire. It's pulsing that out there, but we're like, oh no, I can't do that. But I really realized and sat with that. I was like, hold on a second. Like I already have that energy. I have all the ideas I could ever need to make money. If I only followed through on them, then I would have that kind of money. You know, like I literally have lists like 50 different things that I could do in my office, and I haven't followed through on them. So that's a why. Like clearly, you know, like we already have that signature energy about us.
The thing that you have to excavate out of your reality to make things happen is the belief that you cannot, because that's what keeps the reason why people are lazy, the reason why people don't follow through is because we don't value ourselves enough and we don't believe in ourselves enough, and therefore it manifests in laziness and these other kinds of things, because what is that energy? Laziness is I'm not going to do it because I can't do it anyway. At the core of it, when you really see it for what it is.
It's an incantation, because we keep repeatedly saying that to one another that we can't. And if you can do something that, how do I translate this? Like, if you have the capacity in your subconscious to do something, that means I will, I can.
Yeah.
I won't. That means you will. You
Yeah,
willing,
you're telling
you're willing
yourself
to won't.
you're not.
Yeah.
You're
You're
willing
not going
it.
to.
Yeah.
So you're very powerful.
Yeah. Very,
So
very powerful.
and people can trick themselves. Like I told Christie's, like what we sometimes have is this what they call overwhelm. And Esther Hicks made it very clear where I was like, oh my God, I didn't even see it that way. Esther Hicks says the ego can overwhelm you with a plethora of things to do, and then you feel overwhelmed. That's the excuse for the shadow not to do a damn thing.
Yeah.
And it disguises itself in an overwhelm, so you think I'm overwhelmed, have all these ideas, but it's an overwhelm. And Esther Hicks says, get out of the overwhelm. Don't base it on your opinion or excitement or non-excitement. Set a task, simplify basic task, and fulfill the task. End of story.
Yeah.
And go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you can't X that out, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the basic level of how getting, not to blame anybody, but that's how you get out of overwhelm.
Yeah.
For people that have no idea, they need to figure out who they are in their heart, what they want to do. Because I know I have met people too, they have no clue what they want to do with their life.
Yeah.
What's my purpose, Ra? Why am I here? In the future, when I have my new website up and everybody else that you want to pick, we all do readings. We can help people lean into where's the energy that you're coming from, where am I going with this, and where am I currently. And sometimes you need to ask somebody. That's why we have reflections, where I don't know it all, and Krista might have an idea, or you have an idea, Christy has an idea.
They ask, what's Gabe's opinion? I agree with most, especially what the girl in all black said. What's Gabe's opinion?
About what?
The which one?
So which one?
I think the money thing.
The money thing. What did you say?
My opinion about the money thing is that, from my experience and perspective, everything is you. So your relationship with yourself is reflected in your relationship with money.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is that because of the societal programming that we all face, people think that, actually, Ra, you said something similar. People tend to make an enemy out of money.
Yeah.
And money as an entity, as a being, feels very unappreciated by everyone that is
Because it's been
making their-
used
Yeah.
it's been used by people with bad intentions to harm people and all this stuff. So I feel like that's the negative energy we see with it.
Uh-huh.
But it's just a tool. It's just
Well,
how you
there-
use it. It's just
there's
the
a-
energy you put behind it.
But if you
Exactly, there's-
separate yourself from that, like, them and the rich is here and the poor is there, and I don't want that, then you're literally saying, like, I don't want to make any money. I don't
Yeah.
want to prosper. I want to live good. And I say, well, as a spiritual being, if you want your TV, that's okay. If you want your PlayStation, that is okay. You also have to have fun in life.
Yeah.
It's not Jesus and you're sitting in, I don't know, in one room and you eat rice every day and
Yeah.
repent and having no sex, God forbid. And you're not going to do nothing because you want to be such a Puritan and you're beating the crap out of yourself for ascension. That's also garbage.
Oh, that's not the path
Absolutely.
either.
That's not the path.
So it's like, how often do we sit around talking about, like, oh, the world would, if money wasn't a thing, then the world would be such a better place, or I would be able to do all the things that
Yeah,
I
no, we
actually want
won't.
to.
But
No.
that's a delusional
You're-
concept.
When you depreciate money, you're depreciating your own value. When you depreciate money, you're depreciating God. You're depreciating the life force, because money is just a reflection. Granted, whatever imbalances have happened over time and over this type of society that we're all playing out, money is just a reflection of your relationship with yourself. So the moment that you try to blame anything, and it's not just money, anything, the moment that you try to pinpoint something externally from yourself as the root of why you can't actually create your reality, then you're disempowering yourself and you're immediately extraditing your power onto some external idea.
And your service for that is your investment in that abundance in you. And if your investment is crap and you deliver crappy product, then you half-ass with yourself. There's nobody else to blame but you. There's like, sometimes I read I Ching oracles and Chinese proverbs, and they say that you are as good as what you produce.
Yeah.
If that shit is crap, and you have let's say you are I don't know, landscape service, yeah, and I pay you $2,000 to fix my entire property and it looks like shit, then your service is shit.
Totally.
And then I will promote that you're crap, you are costing me money, and then your business will be bad because you're not servicing what you actually want from life. That has to be in balance.
Right.
you know?
So yeah, I completely agree. For myself, with everything that I do and with everything that I create, I'm all or nothing, meaning that all of my energy is invested in it, or I'm not focusing on it, because if I'm to do something, I'm doing it with my entire being, not because I want to make money, not because I want to do this, because it's a matter of my integrity. If I'm not fully putting all of my energy into that which I'm creating, then I'm not actually true to myself in that moment.
And what do you expect if
Yeah.
you don't put, let's say people put 15% of gasoline in their tank and they expect a 600-mile range with their car? That's delusional.
Right.
And trust me, I've seen some people that they think, I'll do a little bit here, or they steal the fuel from the neighbor and they think, I'm going to be on the same ascension path. That it's not going to work.
But this
You have to bring the surface to fill your tank to the fullest so
Right.
you can be on that ascension path and be on your way.
This is
And
the
when you
whole
do it,
point
it gets
of life.
easier.
This is the whole point of what you're talking about. Is the whole point of existing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the joy of creation.
Yes.
You
That's
just
why
said
we
the
came
word
here.
That's where the
creativity.
abundance energy flows.
Yeah.
In the joy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we came here.
And-
That's in the first place why we came here, for the vastness and the abundance of what we are, to create
we
that
can create.
in that reflection.
We have so much.
We
Look
can
at
build
us sitting
homes,
here.
houses,
We have so much
factories.
physical
We have
stuff
no
now.
limit to
It's not
whatever
World
we
War
want to
II
build.
anymore.
And very on going off of that stream of thought, the universe will not give you anything new if you haven't fully utilized the resources at your disposal.
Yeah.
Because the
Tell me.
universe does
Ooh.
not waste anything.
Tell
It
me.
is the most efficient system of all systems because it is the everything. So if you are not receiving anything new, whether that's a physical object, whether that's a relationship, whether that's new inspiration, that's life's way of saying you have not
There's something
utilized
more.
your creativity to the highest potential with what you have now to actually do the best that you possibly can do in every given moment to create the reality that you truly desire. And I've become extremely resourceful over the years because I don't take I can't or I don't have as an option at all. Never, ever, ever, ever. I always have, I always can, and whatever is presenting itself is exactly what needs to present itself. So how do I actually just become more creative? How do I access my inner genius, my inner creativity, my inner ingenuity to actually make it happen? So it's really funny because I hear, yeah.
You have to have a goal, though.
You have to have, well, see, a goal is a byproduct of being in alignment with yourself. Because when you're in alignment with your purpose, then your higher self,
You have goals.
your guides, they'll feed you
Yeah.
goals.
Goals.
And
They bring you tools like I'm thinking I need this and this device, and I need a couple of screws and some tools and some gadget, and on the road I find a bag of screws that fit the connector pieces that I need to build this device. That's when you're in tune, it's provided.
it's like that.
Okay, what's-
It's exactly
It's
like
crazy.
that. Yeah.
Were you wanting to say something else about that?
I just wanted to say that sometimes I hear the conversation come up, oh, I just need a new this and that and this other thing before I can do that. Oh, I'm just going to wait for this new this and that.
Oh, gosh.
And this, to me, doesn't make any sense because
It's a door stopper.
It's
a
the energy of
complete-
lack, though. You
It
know?
is.
But the
It's
universe
totally-
doesn't want you to feel like you're in lack. So when you're in that moment, it doesn't give you the extra stuff because it's trying to teach you that no matter what, we have everything. No matter what,
Yeah.
you are that divine being. There's nothing you need to do to be this higher self or yada yada yada. Yes, we're experiencing that path and we're embodying it, but at the end of the day, we're already it.
Yeah.
We've already been it. You know what I mean? Like,
But they're going,
Yeah.
some are going about it logically, and they're not feeling, so they're disconnected from their second chakra. A lot of people,
That's it.
because when you can feel your fit, it's kind of strange. We can think that we're in tune, but we're actually not. We feel that we have it all figured out, and we're in the spiritual concept of it, but we're actually not sourcing.
Yes,
We are not anking.
it's another play of the
We're
mind.
we're not bringing it down, because if it doesn't give you goosebumps in your tummy, doesn't feel fluttered, and you're not feeling ticklish, and you're not having Rob calls it liquids flowing in you, like in your
euphoric
body.
feeling.
Yeah, right. Your energy doesn't spin upwards
Mhm.
like a spiral coming from his spirit, or you're creating a pyramid to earth, and you're not seeing geometries in your brain or whatever, and having ideas, you know, like it's sometimes we have to get into our physical body for the answer.
And once you get the energy going, like I was working on my first rap song for my new STARSEED album, and when I started creating lyrics and making beats, I killed an entire night. And before I knew it, I hear the birds and the sun comes up, and I'm like, oh shit. I completely lost track of time, and I got so amped, like I was so energetic, and I was like, okay, now I gotta come back in here. Let's rest for half a day. But that's the energy that you get, like it gets you going.
Oh, yeah.
It gets you
That flow
creative.
state.
It stuff spirits. It's like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
calling in spirits to create that, and it comes.
Exactly,
Really.
because you're carrying other people's spirit. If you don't have your own space, Virginia Woolf, a woman needs a space of her own to create. If you're not having a little box, a little van, that's your van. You're not having a little room, that's your room. A little bunk bed section of your dorm, that's your space. You cannot feel your own energy. if you're not going out in nature walks, you know, yeah, it has
Having
nothing
that
to do-
sacred space for yourself, creating that sacred space for you to create in.
Exactly, and literally, like, I have to close the door. I have to sit my butt down on my pillow, on my dog pillow, and I have to feel my freaking self with everything I have. I have to just get off of my phone. I have to get off of YouTube and experience what is it that I'm doing. And it's not the easiest thing. It's not the easiest thing. It's not.
Yeah, somebody in the chat said, "Feel before you leap."
Mm.
So you know, sometimes you see this distance between the rocks. It's maybe 4 foot, and you're like, okay, you know if you can make that with your body, and if you know your feeling and your capacities, then you know if it's necessary to make that jump, or if you'll make it or not.
Yeah.
And feeling is your master. That's your magi.
Yeah.
As I always get in touch with how does it feel? How do I feel? How does that make me feel? You know, when does a feeling change? I can be in a restaurant and I order something and I started eating, and all of a sudden something says stop eating. I stop eating. It's feeling right now. It's about. It doesn't even matter. You ordered or whatever. In the beginning, I did override that, and I got sick as a dog. Something warned me. I don't know if it's a food misalignment, intent, or energy. I feel everything. Like for me, if I'm in a restaurant and the cook has bad intent, trust me, I can't eat that stuff. And I don't have to know what his intent is. It's feeling yourself before going into the moment of making an experience.
But if you're not having cosmic consciousness, if you're operating solely on planetary consciousness, you're operating according to some ancient earth constructs, is you have not experienced the orgastic state of being a cosmic citizen. You have no experience there. So no one's mad if you're not having that experience. No one's like holding you up to something. We're just going, hey, you want to keep doing this another 30,000 year cycle? Feel free to reincarnate again. Figure it out for yourself. Right now we're in a time where we have so many tools. We have so many messengers and prophets and so much transparency and channelers and Starseed saying the veils are thin now. What does that mean to you? You know, you having telepathy with your pet, great. What did your pet actually say? You know, you tripped on a mushroom and this fairy came up. What did the fairy tell you? I know it did happen for a reason, people. And everyone's like, yeah, and blah, 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 and conceptual reality, and, you know, the latest science, you know, I know the news, like.
there's so much concept.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because as we're talking about these things that are non-physical modalities, the tendency can be to get lost in concept, and sometimes I see people's comments of like asking me about certain things or proposing, what's your thought on this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, it's interesting because when you're not feeling yourself in your head, you can trick yourself into thinking that has relevancy, that concept is what is going to actually bring you peace. But it's not a concept that's going to bring you peace. It's the embodiment of your soul that's going to bring you peace.
Yeah, and there was a movie about this. I think it's called Happy, where they say that people in third world countries, they're all smiling and they're all happy, and they measure their brain state, they're actually depressed.
Exactly. Check their hertz.
They induce a self-induced drug of an illusion that they're happy and they broke state to make it through life. But they're not in bliss.
Wow.
So the mind can trick you into a belief system that can create endorphins, and you high of your own bullshit.
I'll check your chakra.
Like the euphoric rock climber that leads everybody to their death because he's hypoxiated, and they say let's go, let's cross that mountain, and he's all euphoria. That dude will die smiling. Same with the diver. If your gas tank in the mixture doesn't match the depth that you have reached, and the toxins in your blood go up, you die smiling.
Yeah.
Making faces and fun, and it's a Muppet show and you'll die. That's the fake happiness. That is not real. They studied people like, I'm a TM practitioner, I can meditate, I'm in bliss, and they measure that person, like measure their actual brain state, and they're like, you know what, you're full of shit, you're actually depressed.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there and they meditate, and you see the eyes and they're like this.
Yeah.
They stressed to freak out.
Yeah.
They're not meditating.
Yeah.
They're not in peace. And guess what?
They're
Maybe
doing it for like a quick fix.
and maybe the 3-year-old down the block who plays with pebbles is in much deeper meditation than you'll ever be because he's in tune with his pebbles. And that's but that's how it is. So people make no mistake. Meditation doesn't mean 4 o'clock. Ooh, I'm meditating. Meditation is to participate fully conscious in life. Krishnamurti.
Life is meditation.
People says 4 o'clock.
Moving meditation actually works for me better than just sitting there and meditating.
So if you hear and you talk and be engaged, that is meditation. If you make your keys, or Krista channels the Orion Council, she goes in 1,000%, opens up, and that stuff comes in. I highly recommend her book over and over. We just read something about higher self that she had. You should read that again. Can you get that? That what she channeled years ago, what higher self actually is, and what people need to understand the rules. Do you have that? Do you have the page? Could you flip that?
Babe, what are you talking about?
The higher self aspect. Orion Council, first book. What's the higher self? Remember, we read the first video we did 3 weeks ago about higher self.
Yes. What about higher self?
How people have it so misconceptualized that you're not your cosmic avatar here on Earth levitating, walking through solar confinement right now. They are aspects and fragments of what
aspects.
you.
Unexpressed aspects.
Do you remember the page? Not to put you on the spot. Do you remember the page in your book
I remember the essence of the teaching though.
Yeah. Can you go back to that? Can you find that? You put something in there like an easel's ear.
Let's check it out.
An easel's ear?
Yeah, it's a German word for donkey ear.
Dog ear.
To put the
to
mark the page, because she read something. Trust me, you have to hear this. This is freaking mind blowing. I'm like, Krista, see yourself. That shit's fucking ingenious. Pardon my French. So if you can find it, it would be nice. If not, watch the video.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
Where where she channels purely, where you clearly see Krista's totally linked, and she just channels in what we have to understand how higher self is filtered in. You cannot fully let that superpower being like Superman and laser beams or everything unleashed.
This one here.
I'll read it.
It's read it.
So starting from the Orion Council's response. The higher self has many aspects and wishes to incorporate them into the physical world, but it is not quite possible because the earth plane does not support these elevated energies. So many unseen things would begin to be seen. It would not be comfortable to the masses. Can you remember the last time you saw a unicorn? You would not feel comfortable because your mind is not yet equipped to handle such a thing. It would be quite detrimental to many to see such things starting to appear. The higher self, of course, is a very magical device that has many capabilities, and so if you were to bring in these capabilities, you could, as a human race, create much destruction upon the planet. Should I continue?
That's the bottom line. That's what I was saying. So the rest is get the book. But doesn't it all make sense to us all? Like, the elevated energies that the higher self has is not all supported. If you go into the supermarket and you have ghosts seeking their blessing because they seek the light, I don't know. So, who knows? Sedona Schnebly, that this place was founded on, shows up and needs her way home. Yeah. And you want to get some cereals for your breakfast. It's gonna get complicated.
Yeah, it's like trying to it's like trying to play a video game that is only for like Windows 10 operating system on like a Windows 98. It's not compatible. Like that level of information isn't fully compatible with where people are at.
Yeah. Like a level of perception.
And the other component to it as well is actually that it wouldn't actually be fun if we started to do all of that kind of stuff, because the whole point of this game and this Earth simulation is to have the limitation and is to have a linear journey where you're growing more into yourself. Because if you could just do anything and create everything, you get bored so quickly.
Like imagine you start a game, like for example, I like playing God of War, and you have all your axe, your skills, your runic powers, you're fully equipped, and with ease you beat your opponents and go through your levels with disrespect. That defeats the purpose of the soul journey.
Yeah, totally.
That's why you come in unequipped as this avatar, and then you build your magic runes.
Yeah.
Like one of my magic runes is automatic writing, intergalactic writing, starseed language, telepathic and telepathic skills. You're building those skills with journeying the experience.
It's the process of
Yes,
it too.
yes.
It's the
And
process of showing and embody it too, because that's what I think about. Because I know certain end goals or certain ways things are gonna look for me on this planet, but it's the embodied of me showing other people how to do it. You know, it's like showing. So ascension isn't just floating up above and just going into the cosmos. It's bringing the higher self into embodiment. So we all start out with this human construct, but we're all showing each other and reminding each other how to go back into divinity, how to bring that higher self here. You know, you can't just be your higher self here. You have to. This is the experience. This earth is the school. This is the learning ground you do it in. So this is where you build it.
Yeah, and in the Flintstones, you see how it goes wrong with Baby Bam. It's born. What's his name? Bam Bam. Yeah, he's born with superpowers. He tosses daddy's car, trashes the house. You know, there's side effects. They show it in a cartoon, but can you now imagine a baby with powers to
And
move
it's not
pyramids?
healthy because it's too much for him.
It's too much, you know. That's why you don't feed a baby steak in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like Dolores Cannon says.
Yeah. It's you start in small steps, and then when you have the maturity and the experience of a trained Spider-Man for years, you now know not to abuse your powers, and knowing that your powers can put actually others that don't have that in danger.
Yeah.
You know?
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
line is very important.
Because we're all creators, and if we didn't have that integrity, it's just going to keep being a shit show.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's what Stan Lee was teaching,
Yeah.
and he said that in interviews that we can reflect on if with our moral standards and status quo with superpowers, this would look like the X-Men got in trouble where the government came in and buildings got demolished because stuff got out of hand.
Right.
That takes a lot of discipline. That's why our magical skills are coming in very subtle
Yeah.
and very fine.
Yeah. So that we can
You know?
actually learn to harness that completely.
Yeah.
So what are I'm curious
point
as
is
to
to tap into the essence without being psychedelic.
I'm curious as to what people are saying.
Yeah, but
like, what's going on.
It's great for learning, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of people. It's always the psychedelic questions. It's all, you know.
Yeah.
People always want to get stuck in thinking that the only way to reach enlightenment or only way to have these experiences is just taking psychedelics.
Psychedelics is
So
a
it can
tool.
help, but
but what helps? What is for some people? What helps you 1,000-pound wrench if you can't unscrew the problem with your own
and
stuff?
some people aren't strong enough in their own psyche
Yeah.
to do that, so it actually creates more of a
Yeah.
harmful thing, or
And for
makes
some,
them backtrack into more of
Yeah.
a hole because they're actually not
Yeah.
ready to take those psychedelics.
If somebody is like on a base level paranoid, you know, all hell breaks loose when you tap into psychedelics because you amplify all your
and you're
shit.
opening portals and you're doing stuff, so
Yeah,
if
so not
you're-
everybody is magi level and all this. This takes expertise, and the shamans in the jungles, they know what they're doing. That's why they can do this. So not everybody can do it.
Yeah.
So we working with modalities and processes to teach you that you can handle this from this level to see if you can get there and reach energetic states that can match that state.
5D is the psychedelic state, though.
Yes,
you know?
yes,
And that's
that's
what we're
what
all
you're saying
tapping
there.
into right now.
Yeah.
Is that psychedelic
Yeah.
essence, that
that's the-
synergy that's going. That's what people want through the psychedelics.
And we are psychedelic. You are DMT, you are endorphin, you are serotonin, you are tryptophan, you are
You can
5H,
produce all of it.
you 5-HTP, all of these substances that they sell as supplements, your brain actually produces.
Yeah.
And guess what? The less stress you have and the longer you hold bliss, the more psychedelic you get. Because
And
stress,
experiences you'll have, psychedelic experiences you'll have.
psychedelic experience itself gets shut down when you're stressed. Your nervous system and everything coils in, and it's actually a detriment.
There's basically, there are scientific explanations for every type of psychedelic experience you have. There is a scientific explanation. There's a spiritual reason why you experience what you do. And so for a lot of Western people, it's a trip into the unknown because we don't have shamanism in high school here, and nor is it legal in many places. So there's a lack of knowledge being taught as science. It's a healing science, and there's thousands of different plants on this planet. So to list the properties of a psychedelic is like, well, we can look in the encyclopedia and have a biology class, but he's asking if your brain isn't developed until 24. So
Depending. That is
depends.
all
Your
fluid.
emotional body, what Ra found, your emotional
Yeah,
body.
it's really the individual where they're at, their journey.
I mean, like I said, Mary Rodwell in the movie the New Human, where she talks about the new development of the Homo sapien into the Homo novus and the Homo noeticus, she has 7-year-olds talking about interdimensional planes and existence and beings they communicate with, and their brain is not fully developed yet, but they can yet regurgitate what their downloads were on a ship. So what is it?
Could you say psychedelics are a nature code? We're not talking about synthesized compounds in a laboratory. We're talking about nature's programs.
Yeah, also you can get psychedelic in the center of the pyramid. You want to sleep one night, but you have to have a lot of money to bribe the god in Egypt. You'll get psychedelic. If you spend the night in the king's chamber, you'll trip your brains out. Why? Because the energy levels and the magnetics levels are so high that your brain has to jack up. But can you handle your demons? Can you handle your shit? Can you handle all of the crap that comes with it? Napoleon tried it, thinking, I can conquer a quarter of the world. I can do this in Egypt. And legend has it that the dude turned pale as a cloud and ran for his life out of the pyramid because he couldn't face the shit that he caused creating wars. So you have to be ready when that comes.
But if you're concerned about your neurological circuitry, you can work with a neurologist.
Yeah. Also, you want to be closer to a psychedelic experience, go to Mount Shasta, camp for 4 days with the intent for contact. You will feel it. I tell even non-believers, if you want to tell me you haven't seen anything, you're not experiencing anything, go up there. And we will do an experience meetup this year, where we will go up there and we will all make an experience.
When are you planning on doing that?
Yeah, of course you come in, and
Yeah.
I want to see you,
Yeah,
Buster.
I wanted to go there the first time.
Yeah. I know the places. I know where the crossings are. I know where you feel out of place, out of time. And you film your own footprints. People are not even up there is also only those that are in tune feel called to go up there. And Shasta is open. It's interdimensional Disney World. So for those who want the psychedelic experience and see if you would run or not, and interface and take your lasers, go up there, camp for 4 days, respect nature, and make your own experience.
Basically,
It is there. It's not even a myth.
Native people have known for a long time that plants give you knowledge.
Yes.
They actually tell you the truth of things and the
But
reality.
you have to have intention. It can't be a party drug, so that's why I think
Yeah,
a lot of
it's
people
not-
are
it's
lost
not for
because they're not
superficial
going
stuff.
in there with that intention.
Right.
Anytime I've ever done it, I had intention and I came out of it with something,
Yes.
and I waited a long time to integrate. I haven't even done anything for like 2 years just because there's nothing. I have stuff, but my soul, I wait till I'm guided or if I need it or not. But a lot of people will take it as a party drug and they won't get that, and they'll keep taking it and keep taking it. And I feel like a lot of people who are really hung up on the whole psychedelic thing, they're just missing home. They're missing that essence, the higher dimensional
Yes.
essence. So, and that's why they keep doing it, because that's the fastest way for them to tap into that essence. So it's really about finding other ways to tap into that essence without taking psychedelics, which is going to psychedelic places, doing other
Go to
things.
psychedelic places. Go to places where your brain actually is naturally perturbed to go up there, and then you'll make your own experience. Can you handle it? Some people go to Mount Shasta. They spend one night at Panther Meadows, which is one of the areas. There's another one is called Flat Sands, and they leave because they can't take it. This is where you are.
But if
This
you're
is reality.
21 hold on, people. If I was someone's mom and you're 20 years old, first of all, your ass is going to be having a job or in college. So if you're doing psychs,
Yeah, at least have your life on path and know what you're doing. Don't just be
It's
sitting
saying-
around
Yeah,
being like
yeah.
psychedelics on the couch.
Yeah, like if
But
you're on the
couch,
couch, you're not paying rent, you're not having a job, or you're broke right
Not
now,
doing anything,
and you're not doing
integrating anything after
anything of the kind. I wouldn't even say smoking, and then that's legal, because you need to get your anchor in.
But at home, see, you talked about that. In Germany and in Finland, they do that stuff at home. They experience their own energy first.
Yeah.
You're at 20 years old, you're in God concept, figuring out what's God and reality. And you've just gotten out of the school system, following orders. So you're completely open to the world and you're looking for guidance. So yeah, I think the intention could be for guidance, for a healing intention.
Yeah.
And obviously staying away from weird compounds and street stuff that people have all kinds of offerings and this party culture. First of all, you want to open a portal. Where are you going to open a portal?
You know what's weird to me too?
What's
All
the-
the,
yeah,
all
yeah.
the psychedelics that I've gotten have been gifted to me. It'll be like somebody will message me and they'll be like, Spirit is guiding me to give you this. Spirit is guiding me to.
That's how
I don't go out of my way at all.
Yeah,
I
right.
listen to when Spirit wants me to have an experience.
Because you're a spiritual person.
Mm-hmm.
You have a spirituality. You have a
A
spirituality.
depth.
Yeah.
That's called depth. See, you can even X that word spirituality. That's also an illusional tag word. Spirituality for me in my life means actually not are you spiritual, means do you have depth to what you're doing. So let's say I'll ask Gabe what inspired you to use these graphic programs, and he says my experience with these beings, the facial expressions in detail, and I can really work out and reflect on what I'm seeing and make that into the possible. That requires depth. With surface you can't do that.
No.
I looked at these
To be emotionally traumatic,
three-dimensional
yes.
modeling programs. Any generic modeler, I can say make an extraterrestrial and he deliver me a puppet and there's no feeling to it. Depth is seen by the observer, and that's where art comes forth, and that's how you see where somebody is real. And to me, somebody spiritual is like, are you real? You really behind that? You really mean what you're doing?
If you are, hold up, my theory now, this is great. If it is true that your emotional body is still forming with your astral body still forming up till age 28, then you could potentially be dealing with fourth dimensional infiltrations on your trip if you are with an unconscious setting. Yes, sir. You could be with some archons in the house. People have demonic entity attachments sitting on them. Somebody has an addiction. They have a ghoul. And you're opening a portal going, yeah, dude, taking the shrooms, dude. And you don't even know that thing jumps on you. You don't have a shaman with you, a sitter. It's called a sitter. Just Google on YouTube. All the people who trip do that stuff.
I think it's really important of who you do it with too. Because
Yeah.
you're literally opening little mini portals, and you're agreeing to have all of that energy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and culture, this society puts alcohol in everyone. This society makes it cool that when you're 18 and 21, get fucked up, on ethanol. Spirits, you're drinking spirits, people, and you're combining, and then they're doing coke. These kids have these fashion pages saying, please don't do coke in the bathroom. My girlfriend was doing coke in the bathroom. They're 15, private school, has a ton of money, don't know what to do. Like literally, if you saw a fanged demon with some bloody eyes, would you sniff that coke? I wouldn't. If you were mixing vodka and coke and a little bit of something else, like. If you had any clue, I know the Starseeds is just shaking their head, but for regular people keep it sacred, like really, really seriously.
The shamans,
serious.
they swallow alcohol to attract all the bad spirits, and then they spew it out to make sure they can't come into the seance. They put alcohol on the side of the fire when people go in the mountains, because the spirits are attracted to spirits because it's at a very high level of energy form.
The earthbound entities want the feeling.
Because it opens the aura and it's
and
a
earthbound-
contract for them to attach.
Yeah, and earthbound entities want that feeling. That's why for those who have addictions, you most likely have a ghoul that needs that experience, that he has a cord hardwired to you.
Yeah.
So you think that you need that, but actually he needs that through you because you're the conduit. And when you become a seer, trust me, when people do these ayahuasca or iboga rituals, they go to Africa, they go to the Andes in Peru, they healed overnight because they're seeing the entity. They're realizing, this is shit, this is really what I'm doing to my body.
They can take
And
your
it stops
organ
overnight.
in another dimension and heal your organs when you do, but you're taking your soul. It's like your soul, your spirit is going out in different layers. So when you're doing a ritual, it's out in increments. And if you're doing lots of plant medicines, you might be very far out. Hopefully you're somewhere next to a tree or something, because if you're in the electric 60 hertz earth grid, you're not doing yourself a service by a split. When they talk about on the internet, they're like, oh yeah, LSD splits your soul, you can't come back your body. I'm reading like, what the hell does this all mean? What they're actually saying is they're not trying to install fear. Is they're saying you can have the option of leaving your physical body. Ayahuasca gives you the choice. You want to go to the other side. Ayahuasca is all about the spirit realm. It could give you a choice. So people are having death fear is because you actually have the power to manifest. And others are rewiring. Others are rewiring your circuitry. Others can calm down an anxiety attack. Like literally, when we're talking psychedelics, like get a plant medicine book from the 70s or something. Get a book of compendium, and stop fucking around and like read the book about it first. Get your toes wet. Read about it first. Read in the forums on Erowid, EROWID.org. Look up the one that you're interested in or someone's offering, and get some knowledge first. Serious.
Okay, I have a question for Christy.
Oh my god.
How do you think somebody can get into higher brain states?
Oh, okay.
If you say they would not be fit to play with biological substances, what would you recommend for somebody to get into a higher brain state? What's your experience?
To get into gamma brainwaves, there's all these different kinds of brainwaves that we have, and to just really get your toes wet with experimenting with different brainwaves and figuring out what feels good to you. So for example, we have like alpha, theta, delta, beta, gamma, we have lambda, all these different brainwaves, and when you get accustomed to each one, you know how they feel and you can easily switch between the different states of being. So maybe go and look up binaural beats or isochronic tones, or get into EEGs and all that kind of stuff, or maybe even go in a float tank.
Yeah.
Go meditate. Go do something that gets you in the flow, even if it's washing dishes, because that's gamma brainwaves. So basically just get comfortable with each state, because then you can switch between them really quickly. There's, what's it called again? There's a lot of meditations on YouTube that, it's not the Hour of Power, it's like this thing Bashar did where it takes you through all the brain waves so you can feel the difference and you can feel the shift. And if you keep doing this, you get so used to it that if you're in a state that you don't prefer, you can easily switch back to that state that you do prefer, almost like muscle memory.
Yeah, and that requires training. So for those who want to measure their brain states, there's a device called Muse that you put on your brain, and it shows you your alpha, your beta. Like if you're depressed, you have a drop in alpha. They found out with people that are alcoholics that have addictions. Yeah. We will wrap it up soon. So that their alpha is in the basement. The alpha levels in the basement, and they drink, and it brings alpha a little bit up, but it's artificially induced because they're depressed. So you can measure that with Muse and an app on your phone, and you can see actually what brain state you're in. This Muse app trains you how to meditate and really see, can you be tranquil? Can you calm your brain down? And then Winter has a lot of apps, like one is called Flame in the Mind, that teaches you how to synchronize your brain waves. And it plays binaural beats, and you can really see if your brain really actually, if it synchronizes. And the longer you can hold synchronization, the more psychedelic you get, the more metaphysical powers unleashed. So they have measured with the Russian kids that can move objects, they're almost like always in sync when they move objects. Like their brain, like our brain states are like this. It's flutter and it always tries to add up, and it's sync and it's out of sync. We're trying to hold it because Earth is wobbling. We're out of sync. These psychic kids are like this. Zen monks are like this. They're holding it. That's why they have these powers. So these devices, Muse, M-U-S-E, it's like $100. It's worth investing. Get the app, see where your brain states are, also the meditators. And binaural beats. All the Dan Winter apps are the most professional apps. One is called Flame in the Mind, that really gets your brain into this synchronization aspect of the golden ratio for your brain states. And then you train that and go in there. And we want to wrap it up. We've been on for a long time. I have 122 minutes.
Also remember, reset. You found, Rob found, 20 minutes at the beach resets you for a whole year. So the ocean waves.
Yeah, like go to the ocean, 20 minutes with your foot in the sand, electromagnetically resets you for 1 year.
Wow.
Period. With all electromagnetic stuff, because we're off ground, not all the time we're on Earth. We go
and dolphins help you with 8 hertz, help healing alcohol addiction.
Yeah, and Schumann resonance in your house, you should have that. So
get an ionic blower, ionic machines, get Shunga crystal to absorb EMF.
Blue Shield Technology, New Zealand. They have Schumann resonators for your house. If you're next to a cell tower, you can buy these devices that pulse the bioresonant frequency, so your body always has a like as if in a jungle resonant orientation to keep
But
a healthy defense up against
But
your
people
EMF
really,
environment.
Like, really get ionic blower because it can give you. We had positive 5 million ions in the house. Now we have negative 5 million
Yeah,
ions.
and
So that's the same as having like 20 bamboo plants.
in your house. So get negative ions in your house going.
Yeah.
You want that. I have magnetic plates under my bed. I will do an interview with a guy who sells magnets. We will get more and more into it. But on that note, we want to wrap it up.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up.
We did a lot of service for you today and a lot of noodling the brain. So yeah, peace to all, and we'll see you as usual on the flip side. Thank you for everybody that was here.
Conscious
And-
Commodities on
Yeah.
Etsy store. Conscious Commodities, Triple Goddess Fairy.
You know
on
where my Etsy
Instagram.
store is if
Or you can
anybody has
find me,
interest.
Gabe Solomon, Arcturus91 on Instagram, and you know me.
Peace out. Thank you.
Bye guys.
Love you.
Bye.